2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, I don't know.
7.
So,
8 new signings start.
ooh.
9 if you want to count Maxwell Mullins. Thanks, Cameron. Yeah. Yeah. See, from last season, you've literally only got Ollie Harfield and Jack Barham.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the Stadium for our first home pre-season fixture of the new season. Before I go through the side teams,
so here's a little bit of fun. Who is going to be the first person to contact me to say that they're listening to an Aldershot Town commentary this season? I do believe we're now on the web. And there's no prize for it, just the glory. 32 minutes from kick-off here. Aldershot Town from the National League against Wycombe Wanderers from League One.
As I previously said, our National League season will start on Saturday, the 5th of August, when newly promoted Oxford City visit the Stadium for our opening league game. A week later, we travel to Oldham Athletic for our first away fixture. Then come to another newly promoted side, Wycombe United, on Tuesday, the 5th of August. We return to the Stadium to visit York City on Saturday, the 19th. So, as promised, here are this afternoon's team lineups, starting with our visitors from Wycombe Wanderers. And they are number 1, Max Striker, 3, Joe Jacobson, 6, Ryan Tapazzoli, 7, Gareth McCleary, 8, Kyan Breckin, 10, Luke Leahy, 11, Harry Boys, 16, Richard Keogh, 17, Joe Lowe, 21, Manimella, and 44, Kane Vincent Young. Substitutes for Wycombe, number 13, Laurie Sharla, 15, Jack Young, 19, trialist A, 24, trialist B, 26, trialist C, 29 is TJ Bart, 31, Jasper Packardon, 34, trialist D, and 35, trialist E. For Aldershot Town this afternoon, it's number 1, Geordie Van Staffordshire, 2, Ollie Harfield, 3, Maxwell Mullins, 4, Theo Whittington, 5, Christian Ngoma, 6, Keane Harris, 7, Aaron Jones, 16, Kwame Thomas, 17, Jack Barham, 19, Stuart O'Keefe, and 23, Josh Stokes. Substitutes for the shots are number 8, Tyler Frost, 10, Tommy Willard, 11, Ryan Glover, 12, Zane Walker, 13, Trials A, 14, Trials B, 15, George Milner Smith, 18, Henry Ochier, 20, Ian Anderson, and 21, Trials C. This afternoon's referee is Gary Parsons. His assistants are Marcus Carmichael and Ross Murphy, and the fourth official is Tom Holden. Thanks to the club sponsors who are British estate agents and our stadium sponsors who are here.
Their squad is pretty much their first team that's available. They've got 5 or 6 out injured. Yeah. Excuse me. Good old Gary Parsons refereeing. He's done a few. Quick hello from the EBB to any early bird listeners. 25 minutes away from our first commentary of the 23-24 season, albeit still pre-season. Friendly Aldershot Town from the National League against Wycombe Wanderers in League One. And Aldershot Town starting with 8 new signings this afternoon, 9 if you want to count Max Mullins. Oh, that takes me back. Listen to that song. Give you 3 seconds to tell me what it is. Human League? Yes. Keep feeling fascination, isn't it? Do you remember when they came out? It was like so different, wasn't it? Hello, mate. You all right?
Not bad, mate. You?
Very well indeed, sir. We'll find out how rusty we all are.
Are you not here?
Who?
Ian.
Horseman.
You're not here?
No, he's in hospital.
Is he?
He's had another heart attack.
No way.
Yeah. He's had two stents being fitted.
Oh, fucking hell.
We might be on air, so.
Oh, sorry. Oh.
Apologise if you heard any swear words then.
I'll leave you to it, mate. Thanks, Bob.
No, fair enough. So Glover and Willard are up. taken any part, even though they're listed on the meet. Yeah, but there's about 17, 18 players out there warming up and they're not, so I would question why.
Maybe they've been told their second half. Depends how we're going to do it.
If they're going to make some changes during the first half, then that would make sense, but that's unusual.
Yeah, it is.
At this stage of pre-season.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm here, sorry, yeah. I was listening for all bar those few seconds, sorry. Bit of both. I've got the Pack-A-Mac with me anyway, and I am just about in the dry, although it's a bit blustery. Very fine rain. In fact, it's abated as we speak. It's really the sort of rain that's almost welcoming at this time of year. But yeah, it's not exactly a summer scene that I described to you, but it's lovely to speak to you anyway, Joe. How are you keeping? Oh, absolutely, yeah. June is my favourite month, apart from it being my birthday month. It's just a month which just doesn't involve any football, and as much as I love football, it's really good to have the complete and utter break in June, and then, as you say, in July it starts to creep back a little bit. And I've been along to a couple of the Shots pre-season friendly matches, and interestingly, Joe, a week ago they looked very light, they looked very short, and I kind of said at the time, I think I put something on Twitter, that they really need three men straight through the spine with experience and preferably some height. And that's exactly what Tommy Witherington signed in this week. Three players of good height, two of them anyway, and all of the men with experience, all dropping down, all have played in the Football League. So we're going to get our first look at them this afternoon against a Football League side, of course, Wycombe Wanderers. League One these days, but they should provide pretty stiff opposition for a new look Shot side who start with 8 new signings. So it's got a real fresh feel about it, Joe. Yeah. What can I tell you about Wycombe Wanderers? Well, of course, they're in the Championship a couple of seasons ago, and they've lost their long-term manager Gareth Ainsworth. But it's Matt Bloomfield, I think, these days, a former Wycombe legend who's in charge. And he's got a few new signings as well. They go pretty strong with what they've got, Joe. And what I mean by that is they do apparently have, according to their media team anyway, 5 or 6 first teamers that are out with injury at the minute. But aside from those, they've gone as strong as they can against Aldershot this afternoon. So a good test. And you just can't read a lot into pre-season. You see so many teams from lower divisions beat teams from higher divisions. It's that little bit of a scalp available, isn't it? I think what Tommy Witherington would like is just a good solid performance, to see a bit of cohesion between his new players and preferably get through the afternoon without any injuries. I knew you were going to push for it. I thought you might let me get away with it this one week, but let's go with the old favourite. Let's dust off the Desmond. We're going to dust off the Desmond. There you go, 2-2. Steve, you happy from about 2:50 to get going so we can have a little bit of a chat about the comings and goings? That's Steve Gibbs, who'll be alongside myself, Rob Worrell, this afternoon to bring you something rare. Commentary in July. Doesn't happen too often, does it? But God willing, it will this afternoon from the EBB, a very damp EBB. Of course, if you're in England, you'll already know it's a damp day here, there and everywhere, including Old Trafford, where the Aussies have ordered a couple of days worth of it, I think. And indeed up at Liverpool, the Royal Liverpool, where the Open's taking place, but will of course go ahead in the conditions. In fact, probably has gone ahead now. Let's have a little look. Overnight, Brian Harman was at 10 under par, led the British Open, and he had a 5-shot lead over home favourite Tommy Fleetwood and one other. John Rahm, I'm told, is on the charge at the moment, but Harman, who's yet to tee off, -10, Fleetwood -5, Straka -4, Day Sharma and several others on -3. John Rahm is currently already through 14 holes and he's to -3, so terrific run for the Spaniard. Still no play at Old Trafford in the cricket, but there is hope of some. Not much, but some. And if you missed it earlier in the Women's World Cup, England got off to a winning start, 1-0 against Haiti, who put in a fantastic performance. Still waiting, by the way, for the first listener to let me know that we are online this season. That's a pretty prestigious honour available. Just 13 minutes away from kickoff now and 3 minutes away from the start of our commentary.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. The Chinese have just heard will proceed.
No worries if no one's listening. Steve Gibbs and I'll just have a chit chat about the shots all afternoon. It's what we normally do. No change there. Well, good afternoon, Stuart Griffiths. You win the big prize, which is fame, and I don't know what else really, just a little bit of fame that you are the first Aldershot Town related supporter that's contacted me to say you're listening this afternoon. Could be a three-way chat, Steve, me, you and Stuart Griffiths. Stuart often joins us for one of the opening commentaries of the season as we mull over the new signings and the comings and goings. I'll be doing that this afternoon with Steve Gibbs, and an exclusive for you, Stuart, and anyone else that's joined is that Steve Gibbs even is going to be our regular home summariser this season. For the majority of matches it will be Rob and Stacey. No, what was it? A little bit of a throwback to the days there where Gavin, Dennison and Steve commentated so often that they were called Gavin and Stacey, and they had those names inscribed on the media bench here at the EBB. We wish my mentor and the former regular Aldershot Town commentator Gav Dennison all the best. He's off to distant shores, isn't he, Steve? Perth, Australia, that's it. I was just trying to remember where it was. So it was actually his move to Saudi for a year that threw open the opportunity for me to take over the commentary for the BBC. So I'll be forever grateful for that, Gav. All the best to you. We are 10 minutes away from Aldershot Town's first pre-season friendly at the EBB this season against League One side Wycombe, and Steve Gibbs and myself are about to get going. So last sort of 30-second warning, listeners. You don't want to miss a word. Go and get yourself some refreshments and snacks alongside you. Let us know where you're listening from. I know there will be one or two strays listening. That's Aldershot Town supporters who don't live in the near vicinity, so they're unlikely to be here for a pre-season friendly match. We are loud and clear in Tenerife, as confirmed by Lindsay Morrish. Good to hear. Afternoon, Rob. Good to hear your voice all the way down here. I think he's in Tenerife. He could have moved down further somewhere else, but we've got, as I look away to my left, I can see that although stripped, they're in socks and sliders. That's Ryan Glover and Tommy Willard, so they're taking no imminent part in this one. They are listed as on the bench this afternoon. And Aldershot are due to start with 8 new signings, plus Max Mullins, who was at Aldershot last year but obviously was on loan quite a bit. So it's time for me to bring in my glamorous assistant, Mr. Steve Gibbs, and see what he's got to say about the comings and goings at Aldershot Town. Good afternoon, Mr. Gibbs.
Good afternoon, Mr. Worrell. It's good to be back. We seem to have teleported to the 1st of October, but apparently it's still July.
It does feel a little bit like that, doesn't it? The grass is very green, or green and red, as one of the ground staff commented earlier on. Apparently it's got some disease in it already. I couldn't tell, not with my naked eye. Looks fabulous to me, Steve.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. It's the quality that we've come to expect, but everyone has a pre-season, including the pitch, I'm sure, and whatever ails it at the moment will be ushered away by the 5th of August.
So that's Steve Gibbs. John Bell, the leader of the Stray Shots Facebook group, of course, out in Germany, is listening. That's good to know. We have at least a quorum, Steve. We may begin. Obvious subject for discussion. Tommy Widrington came in, 6 games to go, provided a bit of a steal. 4 draws, 2 wins. The shot stayed up rather comfortably in the end. And hello, Tyler Frost. I'm going to just grab him and talk to him. We've just gone on air. Good afternoon, Tyler Frost. How are you?
Yeah, not bad. Good to be back.
Are you involved today? I haven't checked the team sheet.
Yeah, I'm involved, but we got like another starting 11, and then I think hopefully I'll feature in the second half at some point. Played 90 on Tuesday, so it's all about building up minutes for everyone at the minute, I think.
Great to see you, and I'm missing you in the commentary box, but Steve will have to do, you know. But no, it's been an interesting pre-season. Of course, you've been playing in a few different positions already. I think you prefer probably central midfield, don't you? But you've done a good job at wing back as well, and I think when we talked off air, you just want to be in that first 11, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. I think this season's about me trying to make as many appearances as possible at the moment. The gaffer trusts me to play in multiple positions, which has been a feature of my career so far. But no, I think I've done well in the midfield role, and obviously at the moment Ollie's probably our only out and out wing back, so you can't start 90, so I've had to feature there and actually done alright. My 2 assists have come from there at the same time, so I'm shooting myself in the foot a little bit, but just to get on the pitch and be involved is the main thing.
Now I'm going to talk to Steve in a moment about the new signings, but I just want to ask you personally, from the outside looking in, I might have even had this conversation with you. I had it with a lot of people about a week ago, and I said we need 3 men through the spine of that team, 3 men experienced. They've all come in the last week. Does that give you as players a real lift in terms of belief of what you can go on and do this season?
Yeah, I don't think it was just supporters. I think the whole team, staff knew that it was what we needed and what was probably going to come in. 3, by the looks of it, really senior, experienced players, and all shown enough at the moment in training that they're going to make a big difference. We've seen Kwame play the other day some minutes, and it was he looks impressive to me. I said to him, the way he just controls the ball, even with his head, it's like that's a striker that we need, is someone who can just hold the ball up no matter how it's put into him. So he's impressed me at the moment. Haven't seen the other two play yet, but just from training you can see, especially with Stuart, his seniority, his communication. It should be a big boost to the team. You know, a proper leader, captain, someone who, you know, is still looking to play as well as he can. He's not just come here because, you know, some people think, oh, he's getting older. He's not. He's only 32. We had this conversation the other day. He's still got aspirations of his own to play as well as he can, and, you know, see what he can still do. So I think everyone should be super excited, and let's see how we fare against a very good opposition today. And yeah, exciting.
Brilliant stuff. Tyler, thanks for popping over to say hello. Good to see you, and we hope to see you in the second half. Cheers. Thank you very much. Steve, I'm sure you didn't mind that, did you?
Absolutely
Tyler
not.
He popped by to say
to listen as anybody out there in Radio Land. No, it's good to know that the players we saw in the director's box just to our left are involved, that they will get some minutes, and I think it makes sense in pre-season to almost have those two starting 11s to try a few formations and partnerships out and see who seizes the opportunity. So, and also you don't get too many players too fatigued early on, that you want to give them control the minutes, where one person starts on Tuesday, maybe they play a lesser part on the Saturday. It makes perfect sense. The 90 minutes that the public see is a relatively small fraction of everything that the management base the starting 11 on come the 5th of August. So you've got to manage players, and absolutely it makes perfect sense.
There's quite an even split as we look at the Aldershot squad in terms of how many have gone, how many have stayed, how many have arrived. We've actually had 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 new signings, 12 if you want to think of Maxwell Mullins as a new signing. He of course was out on loan last year and he's recently renewed terms. But a quick look at those who've gone, we'll dwell only briefly on that. But the big loss, of course, Tyler Cordner, who has gone to York, and I think every Aldershot Town supporter I've spoken to wishes him well. They're a little bit disappointed for him that he's not actually climbed up to the EFL, but York had the money to trigger his release clause, rumoured to be 6 figures, in or around that amount, and that money has allowed Tommy Widrington this week to go out and sign those 3 experienced men through the spine of the team. So Tyler Cordner has played his part in providing a platform and an opportunity for Aldershot to progress this season.
Absolutely, yeah. I think it's a shame to lose Tyler. I would have him in the Aldershot Town starting lineup any day. He was head and shoulders, literally and metaphorically, above anybody else last season in being Player of the Year for the players and the supporters. He was a defensive leader, a warrior. But if you're looking at it coldly, he was part of one of the most porous defences in the division. And it looks like Tommy's rebuilding from the back. He wants a strong defensive unit. Plus, as you said, he's been able to boost the budget. So, and I hate myself for saying this, maybe him moving on is not such a bad thing. And when you were talking there, what popped into my head, and in no way, shape or form am I comparing this, it's almost like Philippe Coutinho leaving Liverpool, where they were able to bring in Alisson and Fabinho and whoever else, where you think, well, okay, individually he's a loss, but you can strengthen the whole of the squad by losing one player. And yeah, it's ridiculous to suggest such a thing and make that comparison, but at this level it might be a similar effect, where you lose the defensive leadership of Tyler, but you are able to sign the likes of O'Keefe and Thomas.
All right, the teams are out here at the EBB Stadium. Sorry, just trying to adjust the sound levels there. It looks a little bit shouty. Wycombe are in their traditional home kit, which is light and dark blue quartered shirts, navy blue shorts and navy blue socks, and the Shots are playing in all red, a la Liverpool, if you like, with a little bit of another Liverpool comparison. I think that's where they might end, Steve.
Here endeth the comparison.
Yeah, and led out by the number 19 this afternoon. So just to confirm, But that is Stuart O'Keefe, who signed just a couple of days ago. No real surprise there, Steve. He's new in that bunch of lads, but he skippered Gillingham in the EFL for the last couple of seasons, and it looked like a captain signing when it came in yesterday.
Absolutely, yeah, and I think all of the references that O'Keefe has been given since he left Gillingham, since he arrived at Aldershot, is that he is the model professional. He plays in probably one of the right positions to be captain. He's central midfield, he leads by example, he's got that experience, that know-how, that nous to guide some of the younger players through difficult situations, and in the dressing room, on the training pitch, in the heat of league battle, then I think he's got everything it needs to be captain.
All right, we'll focus as we go through the game, Steve, on some of the new signings, as we don't really have too much time now. But for the Aldershot fans listening, and indeed any Wycombe Wanderers fans listening, let's go through your starting lineups. Both of them are going to play in a pretty similar shape this afternoon. Technically, I've got Shots as a 3-4-1-2 and Wycombe as a 3-5-2. There's very little difference in that, believe me. The Shots with a new signing in goal, 6'5", I think he is, Dutchman, Geordie van Stappershoef, who we're going to call Geordie. All right, because it's just too much of a handful, and we're going to end up saying stop a shot and all that kind of stuff. So Geordie in goal, Ollie Harfield at left wing back. Three centre backs are Kian Harris, released from Swindon, Max Mullins, youngster here at Aldershot Town, and Christian Maghoma, signed yesterday, released from Eastleigh last season. Aaron Jones from Kings Lynn, the right wing back, and then O'Keefe, the captain, takes his place in the heart of midfield with Tommy Widrington's son Theo alongside him, and then Josh Stokes, exciting 19-year-old signing from Sudbury, in the number 10 position behind Jack Barham, who scored a couple of goals already in pre-season, and Aldershot's big centre forward signing, Kwame Thomas. Throw into Wycombe inside their own half. Theo Widrington heads it back into touch, and Wycombe line up as follows: Max Strycek in goal, back three of Richard Keogh, Ryan Tafazzoli and Joe Law. Harry Boys, we've seen before in the National League, he's left wing back, and Kane Vincent Young is right wing back. Joe Jacobson and Cian Breckin, the midfielders. Luke Leahy in the number 10 position as Wycombe poke it back to their goalkeeper, and then Damani Mellor and Gareth McCleary up top. And I'm told by the Wycombe media team that that's pretty much a strong starting 11 as Wycombe can play today. They do have 5 or 6 first teamers out injured. Now,
it'd be a really strong test for Aldershot Town, whatever the result, getting the minutes in. But if they can impress, if individuals and collectively they can lay a marker down this afternoon, then it augurs well for the forthcoming season.
Max Mullins comes across in front of the Wycombe number 21, Marnie Mellor, puts it into touch. They take the throw quickly, and it's currently at the feet of Luke Leahy, who plays the ball out to Harry Boys, who's won himself another throw on the left-hand side. So we've got kind of slanting but fine constant drizzle here. We're just about dry enough where we are here. We've got the traditional leaky guttering to start the season here. Normally we could kid ourselves for the first couple of months of the season that it's clear. Might get a shot in from the edge of the area here, Wycombe. In fact, they're forced wide. The number 44 on the ball at the minute, Vincent Young, squares the ball inside. Shot comes in, deflection on it, goes through to Geordie in goal, who gets his very sizable hands on it. And let's start at the back then, Steve. There was a general feeling around the club, it was obviously amongst the supporter base but backed up by the management team, that Aldershot this season wanted to go with somebody who was a bit more experienced in goal and not necessarily a youngster from a Premier League or a Championship club, which I think we have to be honest and say didn't really work last season.
No, I think Luca, hopefully for him, has a bright career ahead of him. I'm not sure that a team like Aldershot Town can afford to be an experiment for a Premier League club, for a young goalkeeper, and I think Geordie has the experience, has the nous, has the size. He looks strong in one-on-ones, which I think is really vital for a goalkeeper. That can be worth victories, a few extra points in a season if you've got someone who's adept in that one-on-one situation where the onus is on the striker to score. And yeah, I think he looks impressive, and Tommy certainly backs him. He said unless he's lost an arm since I last saw him play, then he's my goalkeeper. And
hang on, let's have a quick count. 1, 2. No, he's good. He's good. He's good. Throw into Wycombe on halfway. Listeners, I hope you'll bear with us. There's not going to be absolute every single ball kick commentary this afternoon. We're just feeding our way, testing out the equipment, having a look at the new players. Here's Wycombe coming forward on the left-hand side. Damani Mellor chasing the ball. He can't keep it in. He manages to poke it into touch for a throw into Aldershot rather than a goal kick. And we see already for the first time, Steve, at the back there, the sizable form of Mr. Christian Maghomer, signed yesterday, playing in the right of the three centre-back positions with Maxwell Mullins in the centre and Cian Harries on the left. And he's a unit, isn't he?
He is, absolutely. That's definitely the operative word there. But he's not just a big, strong, kind of what you might say a typical non-league defender. He's good on the ball, he's mobile, athletic. You'd hope that he comes to be the full package here at Aldershot, but yeah, comes with a good reputation and looks like he's able to back it up.
Tafazoli finds Mellor on the left-hand side. The ball comes back into Tafazoli, who squares it across to the number 8, Cian Brecken. And then his pass out to the right wing, looking for Vincent Young, is pretty poor and goes straight into touch. There's a smattering of Wycombe fans here this afternoon. I think there's a usual segregation there in the south stand, so probably about 40 or so covered, and then probably another 15 to 20 hardy souls in the open slab terracing, and a rather huge Wycombe Wanderers flag stretched out there. Here's Theo Widdrington going back to Geordie, who can't make that either, and it goes behind for a corner. So a little bit of a sloppy start, fair to say, Steve, from both teams. 5 minutes in, 0-0, and maybe the players just getting used to the conditions, the little bit of moisture on the pitch and the rain in the air.
Yeah, it was a slack back pass. I think a promising start from the shots, looking to get on the front foot, but yeah, that wasn't the finest defensive moment.
For Theo Widdrington, more on him in a moment. Corner then to Wycombe, and it comes to the heart of the area. Wycombe player goes down to the floor with an Aldershot player. Referee Gary Parsons, by the way, a familiar face at National League level, sees nothing, gives nothing. Ball's played all the way back to Strycek, who's shut down by Josh Stokes. Ball comes forward, Mullins wins the header, it's flicked on by O'Keefe. Bit of head tennis in the middle, and eventually a little bit of a nudge by Theo Widdrington. A couple of things I've noticed on Widdrington in pre-season. He is even money to be the first Aldershot Town player to get 5 yellow cards this season. You don't tend to get too many wafted around in pre-season, but I'd have given him a yellow in all 3 of the pre-season matches I've watched so far. There's good work from Harfield, winning the ball, and then he felt he was fouled, and referee Gary Parsons agrees with him. Now, don't want to judge any player too soon. On Tuesday night at Farnborough, the shots trailed, and they trailed because Widdrington gave the ball away in possession, and with one pass Farnborough cut through the heart of the Aldershot defence, and Alfie Pavey slotted home. That was a familiar description last season when Aldershot gave away too many goals like that, didn't they?
It was, yeah, and I think Theo will I think he will add the steal. He will, much needed steal, I must add, and also do the dirty work that doesn't really get noticed. He probably won't win many man of the matches. He won't stand out, but he will do the work that makes the other players look good, and every team absolutely needs that. And yeah, he needs to curb those aggressions.
Aaron Jones with the ball over the top. Barham's onto it, just inside the penalty area. Twists, turns. He's going to get across in to the far post. Stokes can't quite get there. Vincent Young does, puts it behind for a corner. And the first moment of danger in attack from the new look shots in the 8th minute. Shots 0, Wycombe 0. Quick word from Steve Gibbs.
Yeah, good enterprise from Aaron Jones down this right hand side. He is similar to Ollie Harfield. He's virtually a right-sided version of Ollie Harfield, although he can also play on the left, Jones, which is another plus point in his copybook. But good enterprise, a good ball, and Barham showing good movement to pull out to this right-hand side and float over across.
Okay, Ollie Harfield's going to take a left-footed in-swinging corner. In it comes now. Cian Harries, I think, got up to it. A shot came in, that was deflected up in the air and behind, and the shots have got themselves another corner. Meanwhile, players from both sides are pushing, shoving, and look at that, those 3 centre-backs and Kwame Thomas there. That's 4 players of decent size, and Aldershot should hopefully do a little bit better from set pieces this season. Then it comes to the area, header comes in, but is from Kwame Thomas, and he has his hands on the shoulders of the defender he's marking. He goes down. Referee Gary Parsons gives one of the easiest free kicks he'll have given all pre-season, and Wycombe get us back underway. And interesting pre-season, but Mr. Tommy Widrington is back to business. He's got his suit on this afternoon.
Yeah, Tommy, I don't think players like Tommy, managers like Tommy don't really have pre-season. He expects 100% high standards every time.
We certainly saw that on Tuesday night. Anybody that's listening today that was at Farnborough on Tuesday night, what an enjoyable friendly that was. Really, really competitive. I don't think anybody condoned the incident that went on. Is Wycombe coming forward? Maxwell Mullins gets something on it and he clears it into the path of Stokes, so you can run with the ball a little bit now. Josh Stokes, 19, may have passed 20 now, not too sure, I'll have to double check that, but one of 3 players prolific for a promotion winning Sudbury side last season, and he looks to me to be a footballer full of lovely touch, imagination, ideas. And for a youngster as well, he's relatively thick set, isn't he? He's not got too much physical building to do.
No, he hasn't. No, he's surprisingly stocky, I think maybe is the opportune word. But absolutely, he's the sort of player that can shine, that can spark, almost like maybe Ethan Chislett, who had a couple of some spectacular moments here a couple of seasons ago, who has now gone on. And yeah, you hope that Aldershot Town can become the platform for players like him to progress through the pyramid, to have a special career.
The interesting thing is Aldershot in particular have signed a couple of young players from a couple of divisions below on a few occasions to varying effects. The lad that came from Corinthian Casuals, I want to call him, is that right? Have I got the right name there? I don't know, maybe I've got the wrong. The team that plays for free, the big striker.
Sean Okoji?
Sean Okoji, thank you, yeah. It didn't quite work for him. It didn't quite work for Franny Amati last year either. Not just here, but at 2 or 3 other clubs he was tried at. But what I like about Josh Stokes is he's played the majority of pre-season friendlies. I already think Tommy Widrington trusts and believes in him. And I think there's a lot more to see. I think he's been playing quite safely so far. I think he's trying to play the way the manager wants. He's showing some responsibility at a young age. But I think if he can let the shackles off a bit, once he's got the basics under his belt, I think we could have a real find there.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay, Wycombe have got the ball just inside their own half, as you can tell. Steve Gibbs and myself, Rob Worrell, just gradually assessing the initial merits of some of these shots, new signings. Plenty of them out there this afternoon. We're 11 minutes in, it's goalless at the minute. League One Wycombe on the attack. Ball and offside given against Wycombe. Gary Parsons blows his whistle, and who else should we have a look at? Let's talk about that young lad Max Mullins. Obviously comes from good stock, son of Hayden Mullins, was in and around shots last year, went out and had a couple of loan spells, did well, but I think a little bit like Keane Anderson, who's on the bench, I think he's one of 2 youngsters that appears to have stood out for Tommy Widrington so far, and Wycombe just shielding the ball in defence at the moment. Aldershot putting them under a little bit of pressure. And we're going to do a radio update as well. So we'll come back to our thoughts on Max Mullins, or your thoughts on Max Mullins. We're only 4 goals off that target at the moment, Joe. It's 0-0, 11, almost 12 minutes gone. And players from both sides finding their feet in kind of slippery conditions in the rain. Aldershot have had plenty of the ball, and they're getting it down and playing patiently. No real chances yet at either end. I've not made a note on my pad, but of course a lot of new players out there, and that'll be the case for Wycombe Wanderers as well. But so far Aldershot have looked quite comfortable, and it remains goalless 12.5 minutes in, Joe. Wycombe in possession on the edge of the Aldershot final third. Gareth McCleary in possession, ball in now, held up the edge of the area. And Harry Boyes is looking to get a shot away, but he sends it out to Luke Leahy. Good patient build-up. And Vincent Young on the ball now, edge of the penalty area. Shots with plenty of players in the area, and just forcing Wycombe to go back and start again. Josh Stokes harrying away, trying to win the ball. Does well, plays it off the Wycombe player, wins the shots a throw. And that's exactly the kind of example I'm talking about. Out of possession, hard work back for the team. And of course, ultimately, he's going to be judged on his goals and assists this season. But that's not a bad start, is it?
It's not, no. And I don't I'm not sure that Tommy's the kind of manager that allows luxury players. I think everybody has to buy into the team ethos, and then they can shine individually. And yeah, I think credit to Stokes there. He showed good strength and aggression and awareness to win the ball.
That's Steve Gibbs. I'm Rob Worrell. Welcome to the EBB Stadium for our first commentary of the National League season. Of course, this isn't National League, it's just a friendly, but it's National League against League One. And it's Shotts 0, Wycombe 0 at the minute, and we're waiting for Ryan Tafazoli to take this throw down the line, which McHomer wins very easily in the air, but he can only head it into touch. Kwame Thomas comes across. What's really interesting, Steve, about the we'll come back to Max Mullins in a minute, but of the players that stayed here from Aldershot, they had one thing in common: Harfield, Ochieng, Frost, Glover, Barr and Willard, all quite diminutive, which meant that a lot of the players coming in needed to be a little bit more, because you can't compromise on having 5 or 6 players of 6 foot or more in this division. You simply can't get away with it, can you?
No, absolutely not. I think that those players proved themselves that they've got qualities other than height that you need, and in those positions, I think aside from a couple of the players that have left, I think they were maybe the impressive players that stood out. And yeah, I think Tommy has got the balance right. I think in individual sections of the pitch and in personnel wise, I think he's done well.
Wycombe have got the ball on the edge of the Shotts final third again. It's McCleary on the ball, tries a path into the area, that doesn't come off. Kian Harries plays it back to Geordie. Geordie plays it out to Harfield, and it goes straight underneath Harfield's foot. I think he might have been a bit unsighted and looking forward up the pitch as that ball came to him, and it might have just taken him by surprise. Throw in to Wycombe Wanderers. And Aldershot have won the ball, and it's Harfield who's won it back, plays it forward down the line. He's nicked and nibbled as he plays it forward, and referee Gary Parsons has been pretty hot. If you remember the theme of last year's refereeing, Steve, they don't give the little fouls, the little silly, minor contact fouls. Gary Parsons has given rather a lot of them at the start of this match, hasn't he?
He has, yeah, particularly for a friendly where maybe you might let a couple of things go. But he's been very hot. No pre-season for Mr. Parsons.
Kian Harries, who was at Swindon previously, he's one of the other 3 centre-backs. We're going to talk about the other one first, Max Mullins. Ball over the top, looking for Thomas. Gets his head on it, and then challenges Tafazoli, who can only hook it into touch. Attacking throw, Steve, so probably not the best time to come to the merits of Max Mullins. I think just what I'm going to offer to you when you do come back to me on him is the fact that he's a youngster who's done well to earn another contract, but yet again he's starting in a pre-season game in the middle of the back 3 against a League One side, and I think that tells you an awful lot about what Tommy Widrington thinks of him.
Yeah, absolutely. The ball's back with Geordie, so maybe that gives us an opportunity. And I think his versatility, his maturity, the quality that he's shown on the ball, the enterprise that he's shown, and clearly he's shown a lot in training as well. And I think at the moment he's probably not going to be a starting player, but he's one of those that's going to be in and around that first team squad. And Tommy did say that Mullins, Anderson and Ben Schroll as well were all going to be given opportunities in pre-season. That was their opportunity to earn a contract, and for me, Max has shown that versatility, the enthusiasm, the energy, that he deserves to be here at the moment. He's not an academy player, he's not an academy graduate. He's someone who deserves to be here on merit. He's not just someone who's moving through the ranks. I think he's probably already exceeded those expectations.
And he might well have not been playing today, but for what we suspect is probably a little knock for Kobe Rowe, who's another incoming centre-back for Aldershot from Sutton. Big unit, 27 years old, has won the National League with Sutton United. And I think in terms of a big strong replacement for Tyler Corden, I think he matched a lot of his qualities. Be surprised if he's as good on the ball from what I've seen in pre-season. He's not involved today, but Kian Harries is, and he's somebody that Tommy Widrington knows of old, and I think from Bristol Rovers, if I got my clubs correct, but more recently with Swindon Town, and I've seen him a couple of times in pre-season. He's another one, good 6'2", 6'3", well built, and looks quite comfortable with the ball at his feet as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if at the moment we assume that Macomber, Rowe and Harry's are his 3 first choice centre halves, then that looks a good balance. I think Macomber and Harry's are the ball playing but physically imposing centre backs, and then you've got Rowe who's maybe the less cultured, less good on the ball, but is the real kind of ball winner, take no prisoners. He will be the player to pick up the opposition's target man, and he will give them no inch.
Is Barham slotting the ball down to Stokes. The ball was recently won back from Wycombe by that youngster Max Mullins. Again, here's Widrington, ball on the floor, looking for Barham, plays it back inside, evades the challenge to Widrington, back to O'Keefe. Harry's with the ball in. Oh, headers there and just wide from Kwame Thomas. And I loved so much about that build-up, Steve, from the minute Max Mullins won it to the one-touch football, and the fact that Kwame Thomas, despite being a long way from that ball, threw himself at it, got something on it, and his header went wide. But yeah, good move. 0-0, 20 minutes gone, or 19 minutes gone. Here's Steve Gibbs.
Yeah, it was a really impressive move. Good intuitive passing, good vision to open it out. Harry's the left-sided centre-back, striding into the opposition half, and then that ball, Thomas did look a good couple of yards behind it, but he showed good energy, good desire to get something on it. It wasn't on target, but augurs well for Aldershot Town. That was a really impressive move.
Yeah, we'll come to Kwame Thomas again when we get an appropriate juncture to do so. Shots in possession at the minute, just inside their own half. We'll do another update for our radio listeners. Maghoma plays it forward. Barham gets up and wins it in the air as Kwame Thomas runs off him. Not sure it's meant to be that way round, but they did well anyway. And Harries comes forward and threads the ball out to the left-hand side. Harfield, early cross in. Josh Stokes, header over the bar. And flicked header. He was past the front of the goal. He had to direct it back to where he assumed the goal was, and I don't think we ever had an ooh moment there, Steve, did we? But 2 chances with the head, difficult ones in 2 minutes for the shots.
Yeah, he did well, Stokes, to kind of get his bearings, get the ball at least directed between the posts, even though it was over. But again, another good move, and he had Theo Widrington congratulating Christian Maghoma on his role in that move as well. I think there's partnerships, there's complementary qualities emerging all over the pitch, and I think this is shaping up to be a really cohesive Aldershot Town squad.
As the ball comes flying into the media box, skims across the front of Steve, and it's ably caught by Tim the Cat Noise. Tim the Cat Noise. Throw in 2 shots, and I thought Josh Stokes was fouled, but nothing given on this occasion. Jones sends it back in, half-headed away. Just before that throw, tremendous hold-up play again from Kwame Thomas, who isn't just big, but uses his height and his physicality. Mullins does well chasing back to just make sure he gets contact on the ball, and heads it into touch for a throw into Wycombe. Of course, we believed Max Mullins to be perhaps more of a wing back, but there he is playing in the centre of defence, and I think what Widrington likes is his pace, his recovery pace, and his ability on the ball. Got a couple of big units around him who can mark the big guns. The ball comes in to the area, nice and easy for Geordie to snaffle. The rain comes down a little bit heavier, but it remains here almost halfway through the first half. Shots 0, Wycombe 0. Update to follow very shortly. Aaron Jones back to Widrington, plays the ball down the line. Josh Stokes turns, accidentally handballs it. Can't really have any complaints about the free kick that's been given against him. And it remains 0-0 here at the EBB. We'll update to radio very shortly when I can hear him again in my ear. Free kick to Wycombe, 1/3 of the way up the pitch for them. And crowd this afternoon, always difficult to tell pre-season, Steve, but it looks as though there might be 800 or 900 here, something like that. Yeah. Maybe 1,000
I would agree.
If there's a few at the Tea Hut already. Free kick to Wycombe inside their own half. It's taken by Tafazoli out to the right hand side. Shots player goes down. Harry's shot comes in from the number 7, Gareth McCleary. Comfortable save for Geordie, and the way that Harry's went down there I thought we're just waiting for the referee to blow for a kick, but nothing given, Steve.
Yeah, I think he was certainly expecting it as well, but that was one incident that Mr. Parsons has let slide this afternoon.
Ball forward from the shots. Again, Barham wins it for Thomas, who gets it under control. Back to Barham. Can he get it out of his feet for a shot? He can, but it cannons off the back of the Wycombe skipper. And then Wycombe clear the ball to touch over on this left-hand side in front of us. Just scrambling around to get the confirmation of the name of the Wycombe skipper. It's not. He's not listed on the team sheet, but it's the central of the three centre backs. And when I give you his shirt, I'll see his shirt number. I'll tell you who it is. Looks to be the most experienced one. A few grey hairs. You see his number? It's the number
16. Yeah. From your description, it's Richard Keogh, who's seems to have been around the Football League for about the last 75 years.
That's the one. Richard Keogh. Probably should have recognised him, but watched too much National League football. Here's Aldershot in possession. Aaron Jones back to Max Mullins. Mullins clips a ball over the top, looking for Kwame Thomas. Doesn't quite time his jump. The ball's cleared forward. Maghoma helps it on. Wycombe will win the first header. O'Keefe battles with Breckin. Breckin comes away with it. Mullins picks the ball up. He's fouled by the number 10 Luke Leahy. Free kick to the shots inside the Wycombe half. And I love the way, Steve, that Tommy doesn't care about reputations or wage salaries or anything. He just looks at the players in training and picks the team based on what he likes and rates.
Yeah, it's the only way to do it, but we'd probably be surprised at how many managers don't do it that way, but it's absolutely the way.
Wycombe on the attack now. Shots coming in, and it deflects and goes in. You've just missed the opening goal of the game. It's come for Wycombe in the 26th minute. Shot on the run towards the area from Gareth McCleary, and his shot got a little deflection, which then just put a bit of spin on the ball, which is what made it just curl around the despairing clutches of Geordie van Stapperscherf in the Aldershot Town goal. Until then, a pretty even game, and I was going to tell you about a couple of efforts in the space of a minute for the shots, both from headers, Cam. They were in the 19th, 21st minute. Mullins done really well to win the ball. Harries sent a deep cross into Thomas, who got his header just wide, and then a half-field cross was headed just over by Josh Stokes. So the shots have gone behind to their League One opposition, but I don't think any shame in that goal. It was certainly well finished and well aided by the deflection too. But 26 minutes gone, shots nil, Wycombe 1. Ball forward, and McCleary is chasing it again. Mullins is in chase. McCleary squares it, shot comes in, and that's wide from the number 10 Leahy. And similarly, Steve, two chances in 2 minutes at either end, shots both wide of the target, and Wycombe stick one of theirs away, and that's probably why they're in League One and the shots are in the National League.
Absolutely, yeah. But I think there was a degree of fortune about that goal, and it's been given to Damani Mellor. I can understand your misidentification. They're both black players with kind of braided hair and
you're absolutely
dreadlocks
right.
in a bit of a ponytail. So I can understand that. But whoever made the shot, it was deflected and it did spin a little bit cruelly past Geordie in the Aldershot Town goal. But I think Aldershot Town nonetheless can be pleased with their start. They've shown enough quality, enough cohesion, enough enterprise and drive, and that, as I said earlier, that there are partnerships building that you'd hope to find over pre-season as we go into the first league game in a couple of weeks. But there looks to be kind of good complementary partnerships developing across the pitch, and I think the results in pre-season matter not a jot. It's what the players show individually and collectively, and I think there's reasons to be cautiously optimistic.
Yeah, no doubts actually about the goal scorer. It absolutely was the number 21 Damani Mellor. Just my mistake of chasing onto a ball now and can't quite get his touch on it. Goes all the way through to Geordie. He got on the ball and ran towards the goal, shot at the appropriate point, and I don't think it would have gone in without the deflection, that's for sure. But every goal counts, whatever the story behind it. And the shots trailing 1-0 to Wycombe, but other than the goal, a pretty even game and plenty of encouragement for the new look shots so far. Good headed winner, you know, there from Max Mullins coming forward, finds Harfield, who plays it off of Vincent Young. Attacking throw for Aldershot, about 10 yards short of the edge of the Wycombe penalty area. And Harfield eventually takes back to O'Keefe, gets the ball back, exchanges another pass with Stokes, and O'Keefe spreads it over to the right hand side looking for Aaron Jones. It has been cut out by the number 11 Harry Boys, and then Theo Widrington does well to cut the ball out and wins it, and then is fouled by Leahy. Free kick taken quickly, O'Keefe's onto it, fakes a shot, passes, ends up out left to Harfield, cross comes in, Kwame Thomas, header down, and it hits the upright and comes out. Lovely quick ball in from Harfield. Kwame Thomas did well, and he's kept out by the width of the post, and Harfield's coming again on the left hand side. This time he's going to turn round and go back, so near miss for the shots. Would have been another one of those Ollie Harfield assists, and I think Ollie Harfield, well, ball comes in again, and this time Barham's shot comes off the number 6, tries to just divert it towards goal, comes off a Tafazoli, goes behind for a corner. More encouraging signs for the shots, Steve.
Yeah, I think we'll see that link up quite a lot this season. An excellent cross on the run from deep from Ollie Harfield, and Thomas did everything right. He got in front of his man, he cushioned the header, guided it down back from where it came, and unfortunately for him, fortunate for Max Strychek in the Wycombe goal, a couple of inches too back, much too far back to the where it came, and it hit the post.
Half an hour gone, corner to the shots, ball comes in, bit of shirt holding, not spotted by the referee. Josh Stokes shows good awareness, good strength, and he thinks he's being fouled as well, but Aldershot have won a throw anyway. I think Josh Stokes at the moment is having to get used to the refereeing at this level of football, where players are constantly trying to con referees, and I think he's very innocently and genuinely been fouled a couple of times and can't believe free kicks haven't been given. But players at this level also have a lot of nous, and they're very good at getting away with. That's a good turn by Stokes, but he's lost out to Leahy, and then there's a poor ball picked up by O'Keefe, strokes it out to the left hand side. Kwame Thomas picks it up a la Effiong out on the wing when you want him in the box to receive the corner, the crosses. Wycombe playing it around inside their own box, clear it to touch, and that's one thing I hope Tommy Widrington focuses hard and makes sure that Kwame Thomas, who's looks to be a really good target man, is in the right part of the goal where, you know, he can be fed with good crosses. Here's Mag Homer picking up the ball, plays it short and simple to Aaron Jones, who we haven't debated the merits of yet. One of the former Kings Lynn players. He was in the National League North team of the season last season, 29 years old. Free kick given pretty late by the oh no, it's a bit of treatment I think for the referee.
Yeah, Christian Magoma I think got a bit of a late tackle.
Okay.
Is now down receiving treatment.
Yeah, Aaron Jones.
The reaction of Aaron Jones.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
As we're about to talk to him, doesn't look too positive. He went over and he seems to think that this might be a little bit serious, but we shall see. Hopefully just a bit of a knock rather than anything kind of longer term for Magoma. But yeah, Aaron Jones I think comes with a really good reputation from the National League second tier, and is probably, I think I said it earlier, he's a carbon copy of Ollie Harfield, and he's also got the advantage that he can play on the left or right side of defence. Likes to get forward, good cross, industrious, a typical fullback really, and I think that's what Aldershot Town have struggled for maybe a couple of seasons, to find a strong, solid, automatic first choice right-sided defender, whether it's a fullback or a wing-back. And I think in Aaron Jones they've probably found him.
Yeah, I would say this is my fourth look at him this afternoon. I've watched him at Eastbourne and Sudbury and Farnborough, and in this team anyway he hasn't played like Ollie Harfield. Harfield in almost every game he's away, he's beyond the halfway line and he's attacking all the time. Aaron Jones looks to me a little bit more defensive minded, and it might just purely be because Harfield's got a bit more licence on the left-hand side, but he's looked steady and solid for me in the opening games. I've not seen any indications as yet that he's going to be quite as potent with his delivery as Ollie Harfield, but as I say, that might be just down to Widrington working with what he's got, and he probably at this stage doesn't want both of those wing backs bombing on, and if one's gone, the other one probably needs to show a bit of defensive discipline.
I think so, and maybe Aaron has been given a little bit more of a defensive brief, but I think he's certainly got that attacking capability to maraud if given the licence. And unfortunately, Christian Maghoma has been helped off, replaced by academy defender George Milner-Smith. It didn't look too good the way Christian was helped off there.
No, and here's Dimani Mella running towards the box. Kian Harris goes down, wins the ball, steps inside his man, and then sends it out to the left ring for Josh Stokes, but he doesn't get that pass right, and he goes into touch. But that is concerning. For Christian Maghoma, had no club 24 hours ago, or whatever it was, 36 hours ago, signed for Aldershot yesterday, made his debut today, and he's hobbled off with injury now. And I've been thinking in pre-season about previous seasons and players that have come in, and we've had high hopes for them, and we've barely seen them. I think of Carly Osborne, I think of Kev Locko, and the centre-back curse may have just struck again. I mean, obviously we don't know how serious it is. No,
and we hope that for Aldershot Town's sake, for Christian's sake, that he doesn't disappear without trace the same way that Carly Osborne and Kevin Locko did. And I think he's got a better history with injuries than either of those two players by far. He's much more of a current player than somebody on the way down or who's persistently hit by injuries. But the way he was carried off there, he was helped off, shouldered off by two members of the Aldershot Town coaching staff, and it didn't look too good. Whether it's a broken toe or something worse, I'm not sure. But we hope to see Christian back out there very soon.
Steve Gibbs, I'm Rob Worrell. His shots on the ball in their own half with their new captain, Stuart O'Keefe. Plays the ball down the left-hand side to Harfield. Barham is snapping away at the heels of his opposite number, the 17 for Wycombe. And he eventually has to clear it into touch. That's Joe Lowe. And another ball comes on as that one's down somewhere on the railway line. And we'll begin again out on the left-hand side with a throw to the shots. Harfield will take. 36 minutes are very nearly gone. Aldershot Town 0, Wycombe 1. Welcome, if you've joined us late, to our first pre-season commentary of the season, and indeed our last, because we're not due to commentate from either the midweek game at home to Chelsea's under-23s, or youngsters anyway, young team from Chelsea, or Sutton United against Aldershot from Gander Green Lane next Saturday. No commentary due on that one. In fact, I won't be there. Throw into Wycombe just inside their own half. Tommy Widrington compromises on messing with the rain and comes out of the dugout and tells his team to get up the pitch. Interesting to see how what he would make of that first half, because other than that deflected goal for Wycombe, I think his shots have done pretty well, Steve.
I think they have, absolutely.
Given the quality of the opposition.
Yeah, definitely. I think performances in pre-season are, you want to see progress, you want to see cohesion from your team regardless of the results, whoever you're up against. But I think Tommy can be quietly pleased with what he's seen from his first half 11, as if Tyler Frost was right in saying that there'll be virtually wholesale changes at the break. But I think players there have shown good promise and good quality on the ball and good cohesion as well.
Gary Parsons eventually gives the free kick to Kwame Thomas, who's been rather heavily manhandled by Ryan Tafazoli on halfway. And he's a pretty strong. It's a good battle actually between those two. Very good battle, I'd say, especially for a pre-season friendly. Shots take the free kick quickly. Kian Harris over on the left-hand side finds Harfield. He'll go back to Max Mullins. Mullins squares it across to the youngster George Milner-Smith, who's playing more of a role in this game than he perhaps thought he might. Although who knows, he may have been one of those players due to start in the second half anyway. Here's Kian Harries. Exchanging passes with his skipper O'Keefe, finds Stokes, picks the ball up in a little pocket on the left hand side. 1-2 with Barham. The pass back doesn't find Stokes, but Stokes makes it his. 40-60 ball, wins it. And here's George Milner-Smith faking to go one way, then just rolls it down the right hand side to Aaron Jones. Jones back to O'Keefe. Looks to have good discipline about him, doesn't go bombing too far forward. There's a ball out to the left wing. Can Harfield keep that in? He can. He got a little touch on it and he claims a corner, but the referee Parsons is not having it. It's given as a goal kick to Wycombe as we very nearly complete the 39th minute here at the EBB. Aldershot Town 0, Wycombe 1. In terms of the players out there, I think we've just about touched on everybody now, Steve, perhaps other than Jack Barham. Big hopes for him when he signed for Shots, 2/3 of the way through last season, but just the one goal. Some good moments where you looked like there was more to come from him, but a couple in pre-season, and he's looked more like the Jack Barham I knew or watched before he came to Aldershot, and that's a good sign.
Yeah, I think if you give him the chances, if you play to his strengths, capitalise upon his movement and his poacher's instincts, then certainly he can be a really important asset to this team and certainly a regular contributor on the score sheet as well. And I think him and Thomas look like a good partnership. Like Kwame's only listed officially as 5'10", but he looks to he out jumps 5'10".
I am really surprised at that. He looks 6 foot to me without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, he's listed officially as 5'10", but he out jumps that, and I think it's not quite a little one and a big one partnership up front, but it's not far short. They've both got good movement, good anticipatory qualities.
Yeah, good leap, good strength, good athleticism.
I think they can build up a really potent partnership.
Here's Max Mullins winning a header centrally, and Kwame Thomas wins his header, and the ball bounces down, and O'Keefe is in a battle with Jacobson for it, and now Kwame Thomas is just reaching down and just he's feeling some discomfort on his toe, I think. The way he's walking around, it's like it's temporary pain and he's going to run it off.
Yeah. It's
Update to radio, Steve.
Sure.
Bear with him. It did. You almost got it, but so did Jordi van Stopperschurf. That's the Dutch goalkeeper Aldershot have got now these days, Joe. We're going to call him Jordi this season, all right? You bear with us on that one. He almost got it, but it deflected past him. It's been a very even game, I say with unbiased eyes, really. Both sides have looked pretty comfortable on the ball. Both sides have created a couple of half chances, and Wycombe took one of theirs, as I say, in the 26th minute. Damani Mellor it was, actually, not McCleary. So I need to brush up my recognition of the players. That's what we have pre-season for, Joe, isn't it? Absolutely. After that, Harfield put a cross in for Kwame Thomas, and he did really well, and he headed it down past the goalkeeper, and it came back off up the upright, so could very easily be 1-1. It is 1-0 to Wycombe. We are 3.5 minutes away from half time, but the only bad news really for Aldershot is Christian Magoma, who signed yesterday for the Shots and made his debut, has had to hobble off. We don't know the extent of the damage, but in recent seasons Aldershot have signed a centre-back that's been injured pre-season and barely taken any part all season, and we're hoping that the curse hasn't struck again. But more news on that to follow. Just under 3 minutes left till half-time, Joe. Shots 0, Wycombe 1. Here is the goal scorer, Damani Mellor, on the ball on the left-hand side. Plays it back to Harry Boys. And strong tackle there from Mullins. Catches his man. Gary Parsons agrees. Free kick given to Wycombe. And I haven't looked it up, Steve, but I want to say Harry Boys. I'm thinking Solihull Moors, but I might be wrong on that. Perhaps you can have a little check. I'm sure he's a player that we've seen play in the national.
I think so. He's arrived on loan from Sheffield United,
and he was on loan.
So he would have been on loan at Solihull, correct?
Yeah, that's it. Okay, free kick then to Wycombe. In it comes from the right hand side, deflected up in the air. Geordie comes out and Geordie claims it, and slightly overzealous challenge from the Wycombe player, and Theo Widrington's come off worse, but I think he's okay, sort of laying on the floor for a little bit of attention seeking and see if the Wycombe player might come into any more trouble than he did. Nothing given, and I think it was Leahy. Confirm that when he turns around. No, it wasn't. It was Joe Jacobson, or Jacobson, don't know how you pronounce it. And everybody's okay, and we continue. Milner Smith with the ball up the right hand side that drifts into touch and makes contact with the assistant referee. There'll be a throw into Wycombe, who equally we were pretty pleased with their first half's work. No major scares for them, just Kwame Thomas's header that came back off the upright. Just over 1 minute plus whatever referee Gary Parsons decides to add on. Shots nil, Wycombe 1. I'm Rob Worrell, alongside me is Steve Gibbs. And Aldershot quick to press Wycombe in possession. Lowe plays the ball forward. Geordie comes out of his area, and he will have to just clip it into touch for a throw, which Wycombe think about taking early while he's out of his goal, but eventually McCleary sends it across to Breckin. Oh, poor ball back from Breckin, and Josh Stokes shows good strength to win the ball and come forward in the left-hand channel. Squares it to Cian Harries, who's well forward, gives it back to Stokes. Can he get across? And he does. Shot from Barham, doesn't quite get hold of it. Skews away behind the goal kick. And I'm going to be a bit harsh here, Steve. That was good from the shot, especially Josh Stokes winning it and putting a decent ball into the area, but Jack Barham's got to do better with an opportunity like that.
He has, yeah. I think the ball was slightly behind him, and maybe it skidded off the turf, but yeah, he's got to make cleaner contact than that, at least bring a save from Strycek. But the build-up, really positive, and probably typifies Aldershot Town in this first half. Bright, enterprising, Cian Harris stepping out of defence with good purpose. Stokes showing good quality on the ball, but his physicality has been the real highlight of this first half for me. He's not someone who's easily pushed off the ball. He's up for the fight, and then he's got some quality as well. And yeah, that's the half-time whistle. Wycombe go in at the break ahead, but Aldershot Town, lots of reasons for optimism.
Yeah, I think so. I'm going to put you on the spot here. One player that's particularly impressed you for shots so far this afternoon, and one from whom you want to see a little bit more next time you watch him.
I think probably we've just summed it up. I think Jack Barham is a poacher, is a goal scorer, probably between the posts. I think both him and Thomas are the same. You'd want someone like Barham to snaffle those kind of opportunities, to really test the goalkeeper and fashion something from nothing. But then Cian Harris, I think, has looked really good in defence, good enterprise coming forward, good on the ball, and then Stokes not afraid of using his physical strength, and then having the quality on the ball to find his teammates. And I think those three players were in that mood, and that's typified their first half. I think that two really impressive new signings, and one player who you think there's definitely more to come.
Yeah, that's a fair shout, Steve. I've been impressed with Josh Stokes in particular. I think that's the right position, that number 10, and Aldershot haven't always had the right kind of natural player in that position. Jacob Berkeley-Adjepong struggled with it at times. Justin Amaluza was given opportunity there, but didn't really play the game the way that Tommy Widrington wanted to, and he's obviously since moved on. And I like Josh Stokes. He works hard. He's won the ball back for the team on 3 or 4 occasions, and he's got that little bit of licence to pop up here and there. And yeah, that was encouraging for me. Kwame Thomas encouraging as well. I thought he did really well to get one header on the ball, that to get anything on it at all really, and it obviously headed it wide. And the other one, he did everything right. He headed it down and to the corner of the goal, and it came back off the upright. Were it not for that, the shots might have gone in level. And of course the big disappointment of the first half is the loss already of Christian Maghoma. Well, I don't suppose we'll get too much news on that today. We'll try and have a word with Tommy later, at least to understand the nature of that. Okay, so pretty much done for the first half here. I'm going to do an update to radio in a moment or two with the first half report. But otherwise, listeners, if you've anything else to rush off and do, go and do it now. And Steve Gibbs and myself will speak to you again in about 10 minutes. Half time. Wycombe 0, Shots 1. Shots 0, Wycombe 1. Let's try that again. They certainly can. The goal came in the 26th minute. Damani Mellor bearing down on the Shots goal, got his shot away, and it took a wicked deflection off the lunging defender and sort of curled around Jordi van Stappershoef in the Aldershot Town goal. He's from Holland. They've got a Swiss striker who we'll see in the second half, Laurent Tolage. And they signed a Congolese player yesterday, Christian Maghoma. He made his debut and he didn't last half an hour, unfortunately, Joe. He's hobbled off. We have yet to find the extent of that injury. But all in all, a pretty encouraging first half for the Shots against pretty strong League One opposition. They created at least as many chances. Kwame Thomas has shone on his debut, and young Josh Stokes, just 19 years old, plying his trade for Sudbury, a couple of divisions down last year, has also caught the eye in the first half. Jack Barham might have done better, Joe, just before half time, when he tried to turn in a low cross towards goal, but didn't really make a particularly good contact with it. And the sides have now retreated from the drizzly rain into the dressing room to hear the thoughts of their managers. So half time here, pre-season at the EBB. It's National League Aldershot Town 0, Wycombe Wanderers from League One 1.
Oh, very enjoyable.
Right, fine. Do you want an update on the Ashes? Came back from. Are you sure?
Sorry?
Didn't feel too rusty. No. Came back from. Yeah, I thought. Yeah, done well.
Really positive.
Yeah, we both said Harry and Stokes got one from us.
Yeah, no, it looks good balance, good, like, the individual part of the team looks to be really, it's kind of good, complementary.
And I think we'll find out in the second half if we have got a bit more depth this season as well now. Obviously, beat him to start with. We've been given it. Tyler, okay, Tyler, well, might not be now George Williams this time, but Tyler didn't say. He said he opened. Oh, really? That's interesting. Because he said he opened at some point in the second half.
Maybe it'll be.
Start really honest with you. I think that's before about.
Yeah.
These guys are just basically just Glover, Frost, Willard, and Walker. Is that right? Is that
Yeah, I know it's Tolage on the bench. How do you pronounce his name?
Collage can't be.
Tolage.
Can't be. Got sent off.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm really glad to hear this, because they say that the suspensions do count, but if they're one in pre-season, they're going to be suspended in pre-season. So we've got the 320 left, so he's probably put himself on the bench on the first day now.
Okay, so Tolage.
Collage. Laurent Collage. Laurent Collage.
After this afternoon, the Shots have two final pre-season friendly matches before we kick off our Vanarama National League campaign on Saturday the 5th of August. This coming Tuesday, the 25th of July, we play host to Chelsea 11 at the Ed Stadium, kicking off at 7:45. Then a week today, we make a short trip to Gander Green Lane to take on Saturday night. This game kicking off at 3 o'clock.
Well, the Premier League.
As I just mentioned, our Vanarama National League season will start on the 5th of August when newly promoted Oxford City visit the Ed Stadium for our opening game. A week later, we travelled to Oldham Athletic for our first away fixture, and then travelled to another newly promoted side, Ebbsfleet United, on Tuesday the 15th of August. We returned to the Ed Stadium to visit York City on the 19th. And our away fixture at Tuesday on Bank Holiday Monday, the 28th of August, has been selected for live broadcast by TNT Sports. However, kick-off time remains as originally scheduled at 3 o'clock. And Aldershot Town are pleased to announce that we have now taken delivery of our new shirts from the club shop. The home away anthems are now available for purchase, with adult shirts priced at £50 and junior shirts at £40. All shirts are available to purchase in person at the shop or via our online shop at the official club website. Just one sort of tiny announcement today. Golden Goal, 25 minutes. If you have a winning ticket, please go down to the players' entrance after the game to claim your prize.
I could see if someone stood on his toe really late, or whether it was a turning thing or what.
Who's that over the far side? Receiving the ball now. Do you know, Sam? Who's that over the far side receiving the ball now? Oh, we've got a trialist, have we?
Yeah, there's a couple of trialists.
Oh, I didn't see them. I was encouraged that we might be still trialists. I did wonder if we were almost done. I'm pretty sure we'll have to make it 20. Yeah. He doesn't want to rely on loans too much.
Yeah, no, it's right. He wants, I think a loan would be kind of a cherry on the cake rather than a vital ingredient. Is the guy in the middle dot of the dice? Do I know him?
That Hadiganda, I think it is.
Oh, is it? I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it is, yeah. And he was described to me when we signed him as a little nippy winger, and yet actually, apparently he's a forward.
Yeah, he's
about
more
5 foot 10 or 11.
Oh, okay.
He played at Eastbourne up front.
Oh, okay.
I think he's had a little hamstring there, so I mean,
He's not listed amongst the subs, that's why I wondered.
oh, hang on a minute, I'll tell you who it might be. It might be Ethan Burnett. Ethan Burnett and Adam Lovett are still here.
Okay.
Ethan Burnett from Reading.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So he's kind of in the he's likely.
Yeah.
It might be final signings, might mean he does sign, doesn't sign.
Yeah.
Cool, I wonder if there's much to do out there. I'm really fancy some coffee, Phil.
No, I'm alright, thanks.
It would be nice to score a goal. That's my request. Give me a goal, please. going to say I didn't expect to see Campbell out there. I don't know who that is on the far right hand side. Is it Keane Anderson or not?
What, down there?
Yeah.
Might be.
I think it is. Yeah. Yeah, it is. So maybe Adam Lovett.
Yeah, he's 5'10". Got listed.
Yeah, I mean, I got two. I'd have thought he's 6 foot. He's tall.
5'10". And that's on White Scout.
Yeah, that's true. That is great.
It's not even Wikipedia.
And that's the most deceptive height I've ever
Yeah.
seen.
Yeah. That's what I thought. Not.
I'm going to stand against him at some point. I'm exactly 6 foot, so at some point I'm going to brush past and do my own measurements.
Yeah.
I didn't, if I'm honest. I saw the last 20 minutes.
Yeah, a little bit laboured, got the job done.
Yeah.
Hated played better than I expected them to. Yeah, on Wikipedia it's just good work.
There you go.
So I don't know where.
I think that's
Sorry.
Ryan Wisecout.
Thanks very much. I wouldn't normally release Wikipedia over anywhere else, but
On this occasion,
I might.
the evidence of our own eyes.
Yeah, quite.
Southend United are playing a friendly.
Oh, are they? Good.
I saw that one next week has been cancelled again.
Yeah, no, that's good.
I don't even know who Jack Wood is for Southampton. Scored a hat-trick for the season. Must be a youngster.
Sure. Who are they playing?
Sorry?
Who are they playing?
Southend, I'm not sure. I don't believe York City have actually put a tweet out saying 0-2 cracking goal. Nothing about it or who scored it. I mean, they probably followed it out right. Xander Zuzibar.
They've scored or the opposition?
They have. Yeah. They did follow it up with a better description.
Tommy's on.
Yeah. Welcome back to our listeners.
We're shortly going to get the second half underway here at the EBB, where it's National League Aldershot Town against League One Wycombe Wanderers, and it's 1-0 to Wycombe Wanderers at the time.
Number 16, Kwame Thomas, and number 19, Stuart O'Keefe, and number 8, Tyler Frost,
Thomas
and number 10, Tommy Willard.
And O'Keefe have gone off for Aldershot, and Tyler Frost and Tommy Willard have come on. So just the two changes at the moment for the shots. So I'll give the full line out in just a second. But here's Wycombe. They might have an early chance, but Aaron Jones positions himself well to get back, and Wycombe put another ball in. That's cut out by Harries, who sends it inside to Tyler Frost, who's coming in the middle of midfield, replacing O'Keefe. Ball up to Barham. He plays it back to Harfield. Harfield lifts the ball over the Wycombe defence, and it's missed by the first defender, who does well to shake off Josh Stokes. And Wycombe clear towards halfway, where Harries bundles it into touch for a throw-in. So Aldershot now then with George Milner-Smith, who replaced Christian Maghoma in the first half as the right centre-back, Mullins as the central centre-back, and Cian Harries as the left-sided centre-back. Then Harfield at left wing-back, and Aaron Jones at right wing-back. In centre midfield, it's now Frost and Widrington, with Josh Stokes in advance of them. And up top for the shots, it's now Willard and Barham. So that's your full Aldershot Town lineup. As for Wycombe, we'll keep an eye. Might be easier to look at Twitter for Wycombe's changes. I'll do that in just a second. A minute into the second half, shots 0, Wycombe 1. I'm Rob Warren, alongside me Steve Gibbs. Ball into the area's cut out. Will come back to a Wycombe player over on the left hand side. They've kept possession. And trying to make room for a cross in from the left. Back on the right foot, in it comes, cleared away by Max Mullins. Only as far as a Wycombe player, and then it is cleared away again by Tyler Frost. And neither Willard or Barham could get onto that, so it's the rather evergreen Richard Keogh comes forward. Shots player goes down. Wycombe keep it in play by the corner flag. Leahy with a cross to the far post, and Harfield takes no chances. Harfield wearing the number 2 shirt, Steve. Traditionally wears the 3. I know the reason why he's wearing 2. Do you?
No, I don't believe I do.
It's because the current kit they've got, the number 3 shirt is a large and it's too big for Ollie, and he's just nicked the 2, and that's it. So indication as to how comfortable Ollie Harfield wants to be in his shirt, and to how few sets of kits Aldershot have got.
Indeed. Such is the problems of being a National League club secretary.
That's it. Corner to Wycombe. 3 minutes into the second half. In it comes, missed by the first couple of players. Wycombe player goes down, so does an Aldershot Town player. Theo Widrington clears it up as far as Stokes, who's holding it up and being pummeled from behind, and Gary Parsons is well positioned and gives it. It's almost that Wycombe were determined to give a foul rather than anything else. Ball's lifted over the top, too much for Barham, goes into touch, and Aldershot have wasted the set piece. And Tommy Widrington is apoplectic, but not with the team, with the referee. I don't know what he's asking for from the ref. The ref gave the free kick. Is he expecting a yellow card?
I'm not quite sure. I mean, it was an obvious foul. Like Boys was almost trying to exchange shirts with Josh Stokes 5 minutes into the second half. So it was as clear a free kick as you will see. And yes, it was entirely cynical to stop Aldershot Town building a counter-attack, but maybe in a league game it would have been a yellow card, but I think the referee is right to let that one go and just let Boys know that, come on, this is pre-season, let's not do anything silly.
Here's Josh Stokes looking to escape from his man again, and he's bundled over, and the referee will give a free kick to Aldershot. And it's credit to Josh Stokes. He's a young lad, but he's using his body really well to make sure it's where the opposition can't get the ball off him, and if they can't get it and they keep pummeling away at him, he's going to keep winning free kicks.
He will, absolutely. I think he's been a real standout for me this afternoon.
Me too.
I think that freedom, that creativity, that strength, and for such a young lad playing the way he does, you'd think he might be a little bit slight, like a gust of wind might blow him over, but no, he's mixing it with the big boys.
Free kick is going to be taken by Ollie Harfield. It's just about 8 or 9 yards, 7 yards maybe outside the penalty area, but near the goal line. In it comes from the left foot. Oh, headed away by the first defender. Hate that. I've always hated it, will always hate it, and Ollie Harfield, you're better than that. Puts another cross in now with his left foot, and it's chested down by Stokes inside the penalty area. But unfortunately, too heavy a contact, and it goes behind the goal. I'm not going to start having to go at Ollie Harfield for his delivery, because it's pretty much as good as you see in this league, the National League, isn't it? And the assists he got last season, well into double figures, shows that.
He will know that he's better than that. But yeah, I think directing them into the defender and then with too much strength onto the chest of Josh Stokes, not his best, but you're better getting them out of the way in pre-season than against Oxford City on the first day of the season.
That's Steve Gibbs.
A little bit of admin. The two Wycombe changes.
Yeah.
DeBar and Pattendon replace McCleary and Vincent Young.
Well, I've just literally got the tweet in front of me. I was about to read it, and you've done my job for me. But that's absolutely fine. Yeah. Just the two changes for both sides, then, and we're at that stage of pre-season now, Steve, aren't we? Where players have had those first couple of games where they get 45 minutes or 60. Yeah. Oh, hello, Joe. Sorry, you were just listening to our little chit chat there, weren't you? No, not at all. Would never do that, sir. 51 minutes gone. Aldershot Town 0, Wycombe 1. A couple of changes for either side, and really the only comment from the opening 6 minutes of the second half is just how impressive young Josh Stokes is. Playing a couple of leagues below this, maybe 3 leagues below this for Sudbury last season. Would have been 2 if he'd stayed, because they got promoted. But he's an absolute handful at 19 years old, and Wycombe, a League One side, are struggling to cope with him, and the only way they can cope with him at the moment is to foul him, and he must have won 5 or 6 free kicks for the shots this afternoon, so that's another encouraging sign, but no real opportunities of note in the second half so far. The rain continues to fall, the gutter continues to leak, so it's normal service here at the Shots 0, Wycombe 1. Throwing to Aldershot just inside the Wycombe half. Harfield to take. And shame on me, Steve, for getting so engrossed in our conversations that I missed the tee. Oh, good turn from Mullins. Really good turn to just evade the on-rushing challenge of the goal scorer, Damani Mellor. And now they play it across the back shots. It's a very, very, very young two of the back three right now against the League One side, isn't it? Really, in Mullins and Milner-Smith. Barham beavering away on the right hand side, wins it, gives it back to Jones back to Tyler Frost with his left foot out to Kian Harries. He can drop a little cross in from here, and he does, and it's headed away and behind by Wycombe. And that's one of the things I really like about Kian Harris as the left of the 3 centre backs. You get your opportunities to drift forward, and when he does, a little bit like Harfield, he'll stick a cross in. And I tell you what, back in the day, Steve, when I used to love a cross from the left hand side, and I tell you what, shots forwards this season are going to get a lot of deliveries, aren't they, from Harfield and from Harries. Double H bomb. In comes this corner, headed away at the near post by Wycombe. Aldershot might pick it up. No, it's cleared away towards Mullins. He comfortably cushions his header to Aaron Jones, who's over on the left hand side, gives it to Harfield into the feet of Stokes. Nice control and turn, plays it inside, nice ball to Kian Harries, who's in the centre of midfield right now, I don't know why. Picks it up again after a pass from Frost, tries a defence splitter, finds Willard out to the left to Harfield, cross comes in, oh, Barham gets up and unfortunately can only head it back the way it came and wide, but for the 3rd or the 4th time today against League One opposition, bang bang bang, one touch passing, another good encouraging move from the shot, Steve.
Yeah, really impressive build-up once again, but once again Jack Barham will know that he's got to get that on target. Yes, he was twisting in the air, maybe it was a little bit high, he couldn't get over it, but for all of those mitigating circumstances, the bottom line is he's got to get that on target and force a save from Strycek.
A bit like Glover, he does leap really well for a little man, Jack Barham. He's got good ability in the air despite his lack of height, but on that occasion he couldn't get the job done. Here's Wycombe with a little bit of a counter attack, and they're on the edge of the area now. They might get a shot in right footed, it's blocked at source. Wycombe claim a penalty. I don't think they're ever going to get one there, and Aaron Jones will come away and clear up towards halfway. It's taken very, very nicely on the chest by the Wycombe number 17 Lowe. Exchanges passes with one the side. Oh, great tackle from Cian Harries to win it, and the ball's up towards Barham, who just has his ankle caught there as he loses the ball, but he quickly gets up again, and Wycombe bursts down the left hand side, but they are shut off by a combination of Frost and Jones, and then another ball forward evades everybody and drifts away harmlessly behind the goal. 55 minutes gone, shots nil, Wycombe 1, and I'd be so bold as to say, Steve, that Josh Stokes and Cian Harries continue their contest to perhaps earn your first Man of the Match award for 23-24, albeit in a friendly.
Yeah, I think they've both been mightily impressive in their own ways, and yeah, I think matching expectations and probably exceeding them as well. I think Cian Harris has a reputation as a really strong, solid ball-playing centre-back who can also play in midfield, so has the quality to step out and supply, kind of start the attacks. And Stokes, yeah, we've spoken a lot about already of his quality, his physicality, his willingness to put himself about and not be bowed by any greater reputations or experience or physicality. And yeah, I think they're both playing really well.
There's a ball forward from Wycombe, cut out nicely by that man Harries, sends it out to the left hand side, skids off the turf, and Barham won't be able to keep it in. Jasper Pattenden, by the way, one of those two Wycombe Wanderers subs, may be a familiar name because he spent a little spell on loan at Meadowbank last year playing for Dorking Wanderers. He might well have played against the Shots in that 0-3 game. It's only around about that time that he was there. Is Josh Stokes battling for the ball, and he wins it again against Lowe, and he bursts down the left hand side, looks to square it, does now, and it comes off of Lowe and behind for a corner, and Josh Stokes just nips ahead of Cian Harries in the battle for that first Shots Man of the Match.
Yeah, there's a long way to go yet, but yeah, really good again from Stokes in winning it. I think he just should have just whipped the cross in with a little bit more devil or a little bit earlier. He just allowed the defender to recover and make the block. But now Ollie Harfield has a corner in front of the East Bank.
Right, come on then, Ollie, you know your job. Beat that first defender this time, please. In it comes. It is a good delivery, punched away by the goalkeeper, and Aldershot pick it up again with Willard. One or two second half substitutions. Here's the other one, Tyler Frost. And if you were nice and sharp today, Max Mullins has just turned and been dispossessed by Damani Mellor. He's running in on goal now, shoots, and it's saved by the chest of Geordie Van Stappershoer, and he comes to the rescue of Max Mullins, and in fairness to the youngster, puts his hand up to acknowledge it. Probably the first foot he's put wrong all afternoon, and thankfully it doesn't result in a second goal for Wycombe from his point of view and Aldershot Town, Steve.
It is the first foot that he's put wrong this afternoon, but he did really well to recover, showed good pace to get back, and I think he had a little bit of an impact on Mellor as he ran through and allowed Stappershoer to make the save. He is a very strong goalkeeper one-on-one, as we said already, and he showed that. He stood up strong, a big imposing figure, and was able to block with the chest. But yeah, Max knew that he'd made the mistake, but had enough pace to recover, and I think that's one of the qualities that Tommy has seen in him that he really likes.
Yep, on the ball now is George Milner-Smith, who very confidently changes over to the left-hand side, misses out Mullins, and ball forward is headed down by Wycombe, and you know what, Wycombe might just get there. There's a bit of confusion at the back, and the goalkeeper's missed out. The ball is picked up. There's a little cheap foul by Theo Widrington, as Richard Keogh was just looking to tidy things up at the back for Wycombe. And I think it's been a good workout for shots, whatever happens. There's still half an hour to go, Steve, but I think we'd love, wouldn't we, to see this new look shot side get the first goal at the EBB this afternoon. Yeah,
definitely, and I think they deserve it. There's been some standout performances individually, and I think as a team they have shown plenty of promise to go into this new season with plenty of reasons to be cheerful.
Wycombe with the ball over the top, bounces once, snaffled by Geordie, who rolls it out to the right hand side. Jones inside to Tyler Frost. He strokes a ball into a little pocket of space on the right hand side where Josh Stokes will run, and he's not favourite to get it, but he puts pressure on the Wycombe defender. He goes back to his keeper. It's cleared as far as the Wycombe number 3, and he clears up towards halfway where Mullins is battling away with Pattenden for the ball. In fact, no, I beg your pardon, it's the Wycombe number 29, Jay DeBar, the other substitute who came on. Meanwhile, Shots have got it in possession in their own half. Harfield, Harries, and now Geordie, the goalkeeper, plays it to George Milner-Smith, who lifts the ball up the right channel. It's flicked on by Frost. It's not a bad looking ball, but it's good battling by Barham, and Aldershot might come away with the ball. No, they don't. And Wycombe have been a bit sloppy at the back in the last 5 minutes, Steve, but that's because they've been well pressed by Shots. Good shutting down by Theo Widrington. It will end up in a goal kick, but fair to say that the National League side have given Wycombe a few wobbly moments in defence.
They are, they've been a little bit slack, maybe a little bit overconfident, trying a few things that perhaps they wouldn't normally do in a league game, and Aldershot Town have come close to punishing them for it, and it is credit to Aldershot Town that they are pressing, they're ushering those mistakes, and that's one of the things that was so sorely, sadly lacking in Aldershot Town's play last season. It was all too easy for the opposition to play out from defence. There was no pressure, there was no intensity in the press, and if that's one thing that Tommy can reintroduce to Aldershot Town's play, then I think it will stand them all in good stead.
Right, double substitution coming up for the Shots. Jack Barham is coming off, and he is going to be replaced by Aldershot Town's number 12 on the afternoon. That's Zane Walker. Barham's work is done for this afternoon, and Ryan Glover is coming on, and George Milner-Smith is actually coming off. He's probably had as much of workout as he was expecting to get today, and he takes it in really good heart and good spirit, coming on midway through the first half, going off midway through the second. Tommy Widrington just explaining to him now what he wants to do, and he wants to play Aaron Jones as the right centre back now, and Ryan Glover slotting in at right wing back, where I think let me come to you. Ryan Glover, we know his merits, we know his fitness, we know his work rate, but where might he fit into this Aldershot Town Tommy Widrington 5-3-2-11? I suspect where he's come onto the pitch right now is where he's most likely to get a game, possibly occasionally helping that midfield three. Yeah, I think maybe perhaps as a number 10, kind of in that Josh Stokes role, or as a right-sided wing back, certainly. Meanwhile, Wycombe have made another substitution as well. Here's Pattenden on the right hand side, clips the ball in. That's nice and easy for Geordie, and Aldershot almost come away with the ball on the left hand side, but Pattenden wins it and exchanges passes with another one of those Wycombe substitutions, so we'll try and keep up to date with them for you. Wycombe have got the ball. Aldershot think Theo Widrington might have been fouled. Harries does really well, and the ball squared across. It's ended up in the goal, and I'm not sure that should count, Steve, but I got a funny feeling that it is going to, and that was a foul on Cian Harries for me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Aldershot Town players surround the referee Gary Parsons, who frankly has had a good game but got that wrong for me. Aldershot Town 0, Wycombe 2.
Yeah, I think the fact that it shouldn't be a goal overshadows a mistake from Geordie. The shot went through his legs, but maybe he had switched off. That would be wrong as well, because you should automatically play to the whistle. But I think there was a bit of a catalogue of errors there from the Aldershot goalkeeper and from and from the referee there. It should be a foul. It's not, and now somehow Aldershot Town find themselves 2-0 down.
Absolutely, in the 64th minute. So 2-0 Wycombe, and it's the Wycombe number 34 that has scored the goal. Pretty sure he's trialist D. He squared the ball in from the right hand side, having fouled Harry's, in my opinion, and Steve's. But nevertheless, as he drifted the ball in, it shouldn't have gone past Geordie van Stappershoef, who failed to stop a shot. Here's Ryan Glover on the right hand side, tries an early cross, it breaks down, and Breckin will come away with the ball. Shots have won it back through Tyler Frost. He's won a free kick. An ironic cheers for the referee as he gives Aldershot Town a free kick, because quite frankly that confirms what I suspected with my own pair of eyes, that most of the people in the North Stand here, who, let's face it, it's not a competitive game, it's not that crucial, but I think they genuinely agree with us, Steve, that the referee, maybe he was unsighted, maybe he was looking elsewhere at the moment, but it's a shame for the Shots. They don't deserve to be 2-0 down, but fair play to the Wycombe trialist who's stuck the ball in from a tight angle.
Yeah, it was an audacious attempt, but you think it was virtually on the goal line, on the byline, trying to take the shot. But yeah, there's no way it should have got through Geordie van Stappershoef's legs, which unfortunately it did.
Okay, free kick to the Shots. Aaron Jones is there, so's Harfield. Jones sends it in and puts it straight on the head of Big Low. That's poor in terms of either the delivery or the positional sense from the Shots. The same player who just got away with the foul a minute ago says he's fouled this time, the big number 34, and the referee doesn't have any of it. And the ball meanwhile goes behind the goal away to our left, and it's all rather scrappy just now. Shots 0, Wycombe 2. I'm going to update our radio listeners shortly. One of the things Tommy Widrington will be looking to build on this season, Steve, is a better home record. It's needed, really. It's not even a want, is it? It's needed. We'll come to that in just a moment. We're going to do an update to radio. We're doing a little sports bulletin. Lowe heads the ball on to the scorer of the second Wycombe goal, trialist D. Mullins does well against him, as does Harfield. Sends it forward. Again, the referee makes a late decision to give the Shots a free kick 10 yards inside their own half. And very shortly, Cian Harries will take that for the Shots. He goes back to Max Mullins. We're in the 67th minute. Shots 0, Wycombe 2. It's 2-0 to Wycombe now. Just a couple of minutes ago, Cam, Wycombe scored again. It was the substitute number 34, otherwise known as trialist D. In fairness, he finished from a very acute angle, and he did well. The Shots stopper, Van Stappershoef, might well have done better. In any case, myself and co-commentator Steve Gibbs felt there was a foul in the build-up. Wasn't seen by the referee Gary Parsons, but nevertheless, the details remain. Aldershot Town 0, Wycombe 2. They've had a good workout against League One opposition today. The Shots, be nice if they can get a goal to show something for their efforts this afternoon, but with 22 and a half minutes to go, halfway through the second half, it's Shots 0, Wycombe 2. Here's Aaron Jones in possession on the right hand side, exchanges passes with Glover and then goes up to Zane Walker. Gives it back to Glover. Glover back to Frost. Early ball from Frost to Theo Widrington. Really good. Didn't even look. Knew where he was. And here's Harfield with another cross coming in. That's a good one. And it's headed over his own bar by Lowe. Corner to the Shots. And no doubt Shots normal number 3, playing number 2, for reasons aforementioned, will wander over now, Ollie Harfield, to take the the corner kick for the Shots. And I think in that leap and that header, I think Lowe may have just brought on a little bit of cramp. Joe Lowe, and he's just receiving a little bit of treatment at the moment. The rain continues to fall, but it's very fine now. In fact, it's almost stopped. And, but it's been a pretty damp afternoon at the EBB. It'd be interesting, Steve, wouldn't it, to see what Shots manager Tommy Widrington makes of this performance later on. Still time for a Shots goal or two. 21 and a bit minutes left. Wycombe are preparing another substitution. In comes across from half field. It does meet the man at the near post. That man is Theo Widrington, and he can't flick it on, so all he does is heads it behind the corner for another goal kick. So still setting his sights, Mr. Harfield.
Yes, yeah, but absolutely better to get that out of the way in pre-season. And certainly you were speaking about home form. I think it's absolutely imperative if Aldershot Town are to make progress this season, as we probably should call it now, rather than next season. Their home form over the last 5 seasons has been absolutely abject. I think they've won just 32 of 107, 108 home games, and scored just 1.2 goals per game over that period. It's not good enough, frankly, and I think where you're talking about Fortress Rec, Fortress Ebb Stadium, as we used to do decades ago now, it feels, any successful Aldershot Town team has had an imposing home record here, and it's vital for any team if they are to be successful in any way, and Aldershot Town just haven't had it.
Throw in to Wycombe. And Harries outsmarts trialist D and feeds the ball to Aaron Jones. Jones out to the right hand side to Glover. Glover to Walker. Looks to get on the return pass, but it's a poor wait. We're going to see 2 further substitutions for Shots shortly. Going to come in and get 15-20 minutes of action, and it's both players listed as trialists this afternoon, number 14 and number 18. Meanwhile, Wycombe continue to build an attack. It's cut out by Harries. Josh Stokes clears the ball away up to the left hand side. Assistant referee alerted to the fact that the Shots want to make 2 more substitutions. And I think, Steve, in terms of the number of players, I haven't got the details in front of me. I think the Shots are up to 18 or 19 now. Probably is 19 with Mullins. Josh Stokes' this afternoon is done on 71 minutes. He's replaced by the number 14, who I'm not allowed to name, but I think he might be from Reading's Academy, let's say that. And the number 18, isn't a trialist, it's Henry Ochieng. And I forgot what the question I was asking you was now. Sorry, Steve.
I think I answered it. You were talking about home form, and
you did already.
Yeah, I trotted out a few rather depressing stats.
That's right. We've been there, done that, and we want to move on. We desperately want to move on from that, don't we? So, Zane Walker very nearly dispossesses the Wycombe number 3, Joe Jacobson. Shots do eventually win it back though, and Mullins will go all the way back to Geordie. I think they'd really add a bit of warmth to the feeling that it's been an encouraging performance if the Shots could get themselves a goal this afternoon. Here's Harfield battling away, manages to keep the ball from going for a goal kick, but does put it into touch for a throw in to Wycombe. It's helped forward by Richard Keogh and then shifted over to the left hand side where Shots have won it. Good turn from Walker, moving on to a ball from Glover. Willard picks it up, strokes it outside again to Glover. Deep cross from Glover, so deep in fact it bounces once behind the goal and into the East Bank, and that's frustrating, Steve. Good sharp passing. Willard did the right thing, put it out to Glover. He wasn't really being shut down. He had all the time in the world to put a cross in, and that was just poor.
Yeah,
no other way to describe it, really.
No, absolutely. I think if Ryan is to compete for that position as right wing back, I think he needs to improve his delivery. On his day, he's got really great quality. He's got the ability to surprise a crowd with everything that he can do, but too often it's a little bit sporadic, a little bit lacking in accuracy, and I wish Ryan really well. I hope he does well. I like him as a player, but I'm not sure that he's quite found his identity at this club at the moment, whether he's a striker, a winger, a wing back. I think he needs to try and focus on one position and do that as well as he can, and hope that it gets him into the team.
Lovely bit of one-touch play from Wycombe. They go up the right-hand side. Kean Harris cuts it out brilliantly again, kills the ball dead with his touch, and then turns it back inside. Here's Ochieng on halfway with the ball into Walker. Walker's given it away again. Struggling to get into this one. He's had 2 balls in. He's given them first time straight back to the opposition. Here's Wycombe on the attack again. Trialist D trying to keep this one in, down by the community stand end, away to our right, and he can't. It just falls away a little bit on the skiddy surface, a little bit on the slope of the ground, and the ball's in touch. Geordie Stapashov, difficult to rate his performance on this afternoon, Steve. He's come out and sort of snaffled 2 or 3 pretty well. Definitely should have done better for the second goal. Did make a good save one-on-one, didn't he, when
he did.
The goal scorer got away.
He got Max Mullins off the hook after his dalliance on the ball, and certainly, I think there's definite quality there, and maybe you can say that he had switched off when the second goal went through his legs, but you should still maintain that concentration and discipline until the whistle goes. But I think he will be an asset to Aldershot Town this season, and that's another substitution has been made. Kean Harris's afternoon is over, and he's been replaced by a trialist who I think is taken the number C. Number 21 seems to have taken up the left midfield spot. So
left wing back.
Not quite sure where Aldershot Town's defensive formation is at the moment. It looks like possibly a back 4. Ollie Harfield is playing left-sided centre-back. Maxwell Mullins right-sided centre-back, and it looks like Jones and the trialist are the 2 full-backs.
It looks about right, Now, John Bell offers that Aldershot have got 22 players signed on. Initially, I feel I'm going to say that I don't think that's the case, but let's have a look. Tolaj, Willard, Stokes, Thomas, Barham, Gandur. That's 6. Glover, Walker. 7, 8. Widrington, Ochieng, McAllister. 9, 10, 11. O'Keefe, Frost, Anderson. 12, 13, 14. Harfield, 15. Harris, 16. Rose, 17. Maghoma, 18. Jones and Mullins, 19. 20. Stapashov, 21. He's also got Ben Schroll down. I think Ben Schroll is signed. So technically John's right, 22. Hearing word on the grapevine that Ben Schroll may or may not be staying at Shots this season. Nothing's been announced there. So yes, John, I concede you're correct. It is 22, and on that number, with Tommy saying he wanted to run with a relatively small squad, you'd have to wonder if there is any more space in this squad, and perhaps if there is going to be, it may be because somebody's leaving. Also, of course, with the likes of Anderson and McAllister, and Milner-Smith, some of these players may, of course, be going out on loan.
They may benefit from a season on loan, a division or 2 lower, and then they'll come back and be a fully fledged member of the first team squad. But I think certainly with another goalkeeper, unless Tommy wants to bring in kind of a young star on loan, someone who is of greater quality than you would normally find at National League level, which I think is the way that he would want to use the loan system. He doesn't just want to bring a run-of-the-mill player on loan. I think he wants a kind of someone who can light up the division, who can give something extra to this team. Then maybe he would want to do that. But I think he's probably there or thereabouts, unless somebody does come available who maybe he hadn't anticipated, someone who's been on trial elsewhere and not got a deal, or someone who a Championship or Premier League club wants to send out on loan. Then his scouting and recruitment network will hopefully be able to take advantage of that.
Not too sure what I can say here, other than another very reliable source says to me that Ben Schroll has left Aldershot Town, and that he told this person personally. Any announcement, Sam, from the club about Ben Schroll, by the way? No, nothing official from the club, but it remains to be seen. Aldershot may have 21 current players, they may have 22, and Ben Schroll is that 22nd player. Good work from Tyler Frost to win the ball, and Willard comes away. Crowded area, one touch past one, tees up a shot, misses bounces down and it's smashed into the roof of the net by Tyler Frost, and Aldershot have got the goal that they deserved. He started the move, Steve. He finished the move gleefully, smashing it into the roof of the net for what I know is his first goal at the East Bank end.
Yeah, more emphatic a finish you could not hope to see. It was maybe 6 yards out, and if the net hadn't got in the way, I think that would have taken someone's head off in the East Bank, or still been going, headed towards Farnborough. But yeah, it's a goal that Aldershot Town have deserved. Another good move. And yeah, they've definitely deserved that.
Yeah, we've just had a goal, and I think that's the third time you've come to us moments after a goal. We've got it synced slightly better. You could have heard 3 live goals this afternoon, Joe. It is one for the shots. Gleefully smashed into the roof of the net from 6 yards by substitute Tyler Frost, who started the move by winning it for the shots in midfield. He fed Willard, who carried the ball quite a long way in a crowded body sort of pile of players. Really, he got a shot away that cannoned up into the air. I think there went 1 or 2 deflections, and when it settled back down, Frost was there. Frost might be onto another ball here, takes it on his chest, shoots wide, just wide. Joe, you almost got what was almost the 4th goal that almost gave us the 2-2 that I predicted, but it remains Aldershot Town 1, Wycombe Wanderers 2. We got 10 minutes to go. Let's see if we can get that 4th goal, an equaliser for shots, and get that first prediction of the season right. Cracking chance there, Tyler Frost. He made the run in the right place, took it down well, and did the right thing to shoot across goal. But
he did.
Yeah,
it was a really good blindside run. None of the Wycombe defence picked him up at all. It was a great pace, a really good angle, and through the back of the Wycombe defence. And yeah, it was always perhaps a prohibitive angle, but I think it was right to try and have a go. There was none of the shots players were ready to meet it in the goal mouth, and yeah, maybe wasn't too far off equalising and getting that first Desmond.
Fair to say, Steve, without a shadow of a doubt, Aldershot Town deserved that goal today. It's been a bright performance at times, and I think Shots fans, whilst they'll be delighted that Tommy Widrington's come in and there's a new feel about it, delighted that there's some new players out there to see. What they don't want is Aldershot nil here at the EBB. And I know it's pre-season, I know it's League One opposition, but that's a thoroughly well-deserved goal. And there were 3 or 4 Shots players there really hungry to try and get on the end of something, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think credit to Tommy Willard as well for an enterprising weaving run, trying to work some space for a shot of his own. But then they had the desire, they had the numbers in the box to force the issue, and then the ball dropped kindly for Frost, and as we said, he absolutely lashed that one into the net. And yeah, you can see the glee on his face that he wanted that, and the team definitely deserved it.
Meanwhile, Keane Anderson's come on into the centre of midfield. I presume that's for Theo Widrington, unless he'd already gone off.
No, Widrington had already gone off.
It
was Aaron Jones.
It was Aaron Jones, beg your pardon, who was playing at right centre back. Formation change again. Trialist on in goal, same young trialist that's played in 2 or 3 of the games this season, pulled off a couple of cracking saves too. Again, names not available at this point. Aldershot have still got a 4 at the back. Glover's the right back now, Harfield's the centre back. The 21 is now the left back. Max Mullins is centre back, and Wycombe go back to their goalkeeper and now play the ball down the right hand side, where Mullins jumps but is beaten to the ball, and the ball goes all the way through to the young trialist goalkeeper. It's just given a little bit of a buzz about the afternoon, I think, hasn't it, that Shots goal? And let's see, they look hungry to go and see if they can get themselves an equaliser late on. Tommy Widrington has not lost the game at the EBB yet, I'll have you know. I'm not sure if there was 3 home games in that run of 6 that he took charge for, but of course the Shots were unbeaten, 4 draws and 2 wins towards the end of the season. He has lost a pre-season match because the Shots lost 1-0 at Eastbourne, didn't they? But I haven't interviewed him after a defeat yet. I think the scoreline obviously is not that is not that important today. But just, I think it's more important that Aldershot have scored than they've lost for me. Good battle on the edge of the area, and 1-2 Aldershot trialists battle away for the ball. The number 34 trialist D for Wycombe, the goal scorer, their second goal and potentially the winning goal this afternoon, wins the ball. Back to Pattenden, back to the number 15, and it comes. Mullins jumps over his man, can't win the ball. It's cleared out to the left-hand side, right-hand side for Wycombe, and a Wycombe player's gone down in a bit of discomfort, and the referee, although it's not a head injury, it's more sort of hip related, has stopped play, and the injured player Jay DeBar is now up, and Aldershot have restarted play. Harfield back to the trialist goalkeeper, across to Mullins to Glover to Ochieng, and then a ball forward, looking to break the lines, cut out rather easily by Wycombe. Ochieng's lost out to the trialist D. Frost battling away and does his best to win the ball back for the shots. I just like that guy. I don't care even that much where he plays in the team, but he's in my starting 11 every week. Tyler Frost.
Yeah, I like him. He's got that enthusiasm, that passion. Just
from his very debut when he came on, I think at right centre back or right wing back. I think the first 3 or 4 times he played different positions. It doesn't matter. He's a footballer. He reads it well. He's fit. He looks both ways. He's had some lovely moments, particularly at Southend away, particularly at York, as he got the goal that officially kept Aldershot up in the National League last season in the penultimate game. He got that off the bench, and he said to me quite calmly before the game, "I'm going to score today." It's just that enthusiasm. Here he is on the ball again, looking for a ball down the left channel for Willard. Willard chases. It's picked up by the trialist, who's lost out to a combination of Wycombe players. Ball straight through the middle. Aldershot's trialist keeper was about to come out of his area, realised he could just stay on his haunches and let the ball come to him inside his area, and shots begin again on the right hand side with Glover. Glover to the trialist in the midfield, and then via Harfield to trialist wearing the number 21 shirt, who has got a throw in to take for Aldershot, takes it now, goes back to Harfield, and we move on to the 87th minute. Shots 1, Wycombe 2, and Glover can't take that cleanly but battles well, and then misplaces his pass back to Mullins. It's all a little bit 87th minute out there, isn't it, Steve? 1 or 2 of the players just feeling, some of them out there probably going for their first 90 minutes right now.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about. Seeing how players respond to fatigue, seeing how they can play in different positions, seeing how they can respond to fitter players coming on off the bench against them, and because those are the situations where matches are won and lost when it really matters.
I know some people love to know attendances, even in pre-season friendlies. It may have been announced on the club's Twitter anyway, but for confirmation, 839 with 120 Wycombe fans. Here's Willard down by the byline, comes back onto his right foot, now he twists back onto his left, back onto his right. Can he get the ball into the area? Squares it, Ochieng, edge of the area, poor touch from him, almost cleared by Wycombe. It is cleared, but only as far as Willard. Willard drifts onto his left foot, back to Ochieng. Aldershot perhaps overplaying it here. That's a good ball from Ochieng out to Glover. Takes it down nicely. Has to just turn back briefly. Keane Anderson with the ball into the air. Taken down by the number 12, Zane Walker, for the shots. And a Wycombe player managed to tow it back to his goalkeeper, who handles the ball. Referee got no problem with that one. And Wycombe continues. The fine drizzle continues to fall as well. And we got 2 minutes and 15 seconds plus whatever referee Gary Parsons decides to add on here. Aldershot Town 1, Wycombe 2, and is Pattenden coming down the right wing, and he's helped into touch along with the ball by Tyler Frost, who also wins the throw. And I just like that guy. He's just very, very grounded. He just makes me feel comfortable when he's out there in that team. Ball over the top from Shots. Cut out by Wycombe. Pattenden down, well won by the trialist wearing number 21 shirt. Ochieng gets a key foot in, but he can only prod it to Pattenden, who exchanges passes with a couple of players around him. And Wycombe really in sort of keep the ball, knock the ball around mode now, and see it out to the final whistle to protect the win. Forward from Harfield, inside from Ochieng. Harfield lifts it over the top, won easily in the air by Keogh. Aldershot battling for the loose ball. Keogh steps one way, goes the other, clips it down towards halfway where it will just bounce and stay in. Picked up by trialist C, wearing number 21 for the Shots. Ochieng gets it, turns. Come on, Shots, give it a real go in these last couple of minutes with the same enthusiasm with which they got that goal back from Tyler Frost. Trialist wearing 14, inside from Glover to Frost to Keane Anderson. Anderson tries to get a pass away and can't quite make the contact he wants to. Wycombe have got it in midfield. 21 Trialist battles away, wins it. Has he fouled? Nothing given. Scrappy in these final moments here. Pattenden picks it up on the right hand side for Wycombe, plays it to the trialist D wearing number 34 for Wycombe. He gets to the byline, manages to get his cross into the far post. Glover jumps, he's pushed in the back I think by the number 10 Leahy, but nothing given. Aldershot clear their lines anyway. Aldershot have lost the ball again. Out onto the left wing. We're going to have 3 added minutes here at the end of this game. The 90 minutes are up. Aldershot 1, Wycombe 2 as it stands. Wycombe now in on the left hand side, cutting in, overlapping run, fizzed across the goal, past everybody into touch, throw into Aldershot in the left back position. And Steve Gibbs, anything to add? You could probably give your Aldershot Town man of the match if you're ready, if you don't want to keep your powder dry for another 2.5 minutes.
No, I think I don't expect anyone to do anything to change my decision in the remaining seconds. And for me, I think it's Josh Stokes. Definitely an honourable mention for Cian Harries, who was impressively stylish and composed and solid at the back. But Stokes, a breath of fresh air for me. Yeah, hopefully the National League's best kept secret for a few months at least. But yeah, good quality on the ball, enthusiasm, willingness to work hard, a refreshing willingness to put his body on the line, and someone who's clearly got lots of quality on the ball, but also has physicality. Isn't going to be cowed by the physicality of the National League, and looks ready to hit the ground running come the 5th of August.
Yeah, I can wholeheartedly concur with your man of the match share, and also the mention in dispatches for Cian Harries. Oh, well done, Ochieng, very, very brave on the ball there, won it, and then flung his foot at it again to clear it forward when it looked like it was going to break back for the Wycombe players. I think Ochieng will be a really good backup in there, or maybe even contest for the place along with Theo Widrington. He's improving all the time, he's learning, he's a youngster. There's a sharp turn from Keane Anderson, but no foul given against him, and Wycombe break through the middle. Ball out to the left hand side of the penalty area where the trialist D picks it up, tries a cross in, that's cut out by Ochieng. His clearance can only find the Wycombe number 15, who exchanges passes with the 24. And Wycombe themselves looking to put a little bit of gloss on the finish. There's a ball in from 34, goes kind of past everybody, and the trialist keeper rolls it out. The 3 minutes are up. The referee very prompt there, 2 seconds early by my count. It's all over here. First pre-season at Aldershot, and a healthy round of ripple of applause at the end. I think buoyed by the fact that the Shots did get themselves a goal back into it. Obviously wasn't on long enough, but a nice cameo from Tyler Frost coming on and scoring the Shots goal, as he has a little habit of doing. We're going to update our radio listeners shortly, so Steve, I'll ask you to just hold on for me if you wouldn't mind.
That should have been 1-0.
Yep.
I agree.
Not really. I could concoct something and just lie on radio just to get the prediction right, but I'm not going to do it. It finished Aldershot Town 1, Wycombe Wanderers 2, but an enjoyable workout for New Look shots. An encouraging display from them, to be fair, at times. Wicked deflection on the first Wycombe goal, and frankly, an awful lot of us feel the second one shouldn't have been given. The referee just missed a foul in the build-up, but it was given. Wycombe 2-0 up. Tyler Frost came off the bench, 4 shots, and got them back in it with 10 minutes to go, rather gleefully smashing home from 6 yards into the roof of the net. And the shots continued to press right up to the very end, despite having 2 or 3 trialists on themselves at that point. Encouraging performances, particularly from Cian Harris, a centre-back who's joined from Swindon, and from Josh Stokes, who's stepping up the leagues and looks like he could be a bit of a nuisance for National League defences this season. An enjoyable afternoon at the EBB, but ends in defeat for the Shots. No disgrace there against League One Wycombe. 2-1 to the Choir Boys, and we'll speak to you again in a couple of weeks when the season gets started for real, Joe. Okay, Steve, over to you to wrap things up. You've said Josh Stokes is your man of the match. I've concurred with that. If we flip it now and think you are Tommy Widgerton, you can be Tommy for a couple of minutes. Slightly greyer hair, slightly beardier, but what did you? Yeah, I don't want to put a negative slant on what is a positive afternoon for Shots, other than the scoreline. But what little concerns or things did you see that Tommy might want to address from that performance?
I think taking the chances. I'm not saying that everything in the garden is rosy, but I think there are things that the only issues that I saw were things that you probably would expect to iron out over the course of pre-season. There was a pleasing degree of cohesion and quality and an ability really from the Shots. I think you'd expect Jack Barham to take at least one of his chances that he had in the first half, and this at no point I would suspect was this Aldershot Town's starting 11 for a league game, although perhaps close to it at the very start. But I think there are partnerships to be developed. There are players who will get stronger, who will get fitter and sharper throughout pre-season with 2 games left, and I think there were some very pleasing signs out there, individually and collectively. I think players have done themselves no harm, enhanced burgeoning reputations, and I think Aldershot Town can go into the first game of the season against Oxford City in 2 weeks with a degree of optimism. I think, yes, of course there's things to be worked on, but nothing I would say that is cause for undue alarm at this stage. I think the bad thing that I would take out of this afternoon is the injury to Christian Magoma, who only signed less than 24 hours ago, and that injury could keep him out for a lot longer than Tuesday or next Saturday. You'd hope that it's nothing serious, that it was maybe just a precaution, and you think, well, we don't want him. The way he was carried off suggested it was something serious, either on his ankle or his foot, but you'd hope that it was just taking precaution, perhaps in the absence of a stretcher, that he was just carried off so that he wouldn't put any extra pressure on his foot. And if he is to be out for longer than a week or 2, then you perhaps would expect Tommy to do something about that, but because I wouldn't suggest that George Milner-Smith was ready to be thrown into National League contest yet. But yeah, I think overall it's a pleasing afternoon's work for Aldershot Town. This is a team who were, until Gareth Ainsworth left for Queen's Park Rangers back in February earlier this year, they were on a good run of form, pushing for the playoffs, and unfortunately under Matt Bloomfield they rather fell away. But this is a team that will be looking to be in the upper stages of 2 divisions above Aldershot Town in this coming season, who put out pretty much their strongest available 11, and Aldershot Town have pushed them all the way. and have shown that they can unsettle them and impose their own ethos, their own qualities on this game. So certainly work to be done, but definite reasons to be cheerful, I think, on a pretty grey, wet afternoon. I think most people will leave the Ebb Stadium here feeling buoyed by what they've seen.
Excellent. Well, I've enjoyed it this afternoon. I've enjoyed your company as ever, Steve. That's Steve Gibbs. I'm Rob Worrell. Thanks for joining us. Listeners, wherever you've tuned in from around the country and around the world. We get underway, as Steve says, 2 weeks today. 3 p.m. kickoff here at the EBB Aldershot Town against newly promoted Oxford City. And Aldershot will also travel very early in the season to newly promoted Ebbsfleet as well. We'll wait and see if that's a good thing or not. Sometimes teams can take a while to adjust at this level. Other times they can just have such a winning mentality that you bring up from the division below that can make them awkward opposition. Between now and then, the Shots will be at home again on Tuesday night with a pre-season friendly against the young Chelsea side, and then away to Sutton United on Saturday at Gander Green Lane. I've seen now 4 of the pre-season games. I won't sadly see either of those, Steve, but I shall see you and see the Shots again 2 weeks today.
Indeed, yeah, I hope to be at both of those games, so
you can
naturally I will feed back my own scouting reports, and
yes,
yeah, I look forward to hosting Oxford City here on the 5th of August. Hopefully better weather, but yeah, it'll be good to have competitive action back at the Ebb Stadium and start a season with a degree of optimism, I think.
I'm hoping for better weather next weekend as well, and the reason I'm not going to Sutton is because
yes.
I'm going on a golf weekend up in Lincolnshire, so it's a rare outing on the golf course for me.
Hopefully better weather than they're enjoying at the Open this weekend in Liverpool.
That's right, and up at Old Trafford, where there is a break in the rain, they are on. I can tell you, if you don't want to know the cricket score, then listen away now. But Marcus Labuschagne has been taken by Joe Root, and Australia have a 5th wicket down, and they lead. They trail by just 61 runs now, 214 4-5, and England are only able to use spin bowlers at the moment because of the light, apparently. But nevertheless, they crack on. Australia inching towards that target, and England inching towards the wickets they need to try and wrap that one up over the next day and a bit. So that's it from me and Steve this afternoon. We'll try and get you some post-match reaction. I'll get some from Tommy Widrington and also Shots' new signing, or one of their many new signings, Josh Stokes, this afternoon, and hopefully we can get at least one of those out on Twitter for you a little bit later on. Thanks to our production team back in the studio, and I'll speak to you again in a couple of weeks. Final score here from the EBB Stadium: Aldershot Town 1, Wycombe Wanderers 2. Thanks, Cam. I'm going to get some post-match reaction on my phone and send it through. Hopefully you won't be too busy with post-match reaction today, will you? I don't. I used to send everything on MP3 files, but that I had a problem with that app. So is it okay to send it through to you on WhatsApp? Will that work for you? Okay, will do. Thank you. Cheers. And you. Bye-bye.